Welcome. This is the apostate prostate. This is the apostate prophet. How is everybody doing? What's up, everybody? Hello, 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 hello. Test, test. 1, 2, 3. David, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up?
I said that. You're supposed to respond.
What's up, then?
Yes, that's correct. So, I've been busy all day and just came back and decided that we were kind of supposed to do this live stream anyway. I very, very clearly remember how we set this topic up. I came up with the idea that we should review SNEAKO's reasoning why he converted to Islam after you suggested that this is what we should be doing. That said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
What? Where?
In Britain, because a subhuman terrorist guy in the street attempted to, or stabbed and attempted to behead.
Oh yeah, what was that whole thing?
Someone in Northern Ireland, of all places.
I tried to look up details, couldn't find any details except this was yesterday. But after people mentioned it, looked it up. The only details were someone really stabbed someone to the point of almost beheading him. That was it. That was all I could find.
So a guy of Sudanese background who was given a 5-year visa to stay in the United Kingdom was in the middle of the street, brutally attacking, stabbing, and attempting to behead a person who is, as far as I understand, Northern Irish in Belfast. And then people came to stop it from happening, and eventually the police came and arrested the guy. But right now, just a few hours ago, riots started breaking out because the Northern Irish are not as patient as the English and others. The Northern Irish aren't quite as patient, so you probably shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, which has a long history of fighting for what they believe is right, fighting each other for a long, long time. They sure are not patient. And if you try to pull this stuff there in Northern Ireland, things are quickly going to get out of control. So right now, you have riots breaking out. You have people in the streets organizing, saying, tell everybody all shops must be shut. We will all be going through the streets. We will destroy places where mass immigration is being housed. We do not want any of these immigrants left here in our streets, and we have to send a message. So riots are breaking out. They're setting places on fire that are where massive numbers of immigrants are being housed and all that, and things are getting a little bit out of control. And I hope that sends a message to those in charge who think it's okay to simply host tons of rapists and murderers in the country. And it's not a nice thing that that people start going out and that people organize and start marching outside and setting things on fire. But if you do not allow people a way to express themselves, if you do not listen to people, if you do not let people speak, if you do not listen to their concerns, it looks like you don't leave them much of an option except to take extreme measures. And you certainly do not want to do that among the Northern Irish.
Yeah, while you're talking, I was looking up this dude. First, it just says a man was charged with the knife attack. But then it said Sudanese. Said they initially thought he was Somali, but he turned out to be Sudanese. Which Sudan, 97% Sunni Muslim population. So always basically a 3% possibility that it'll be something else.
Yeah. And the sentiment is spreading very, very heavily right now. I just was scrolling through X, going through it all, and I went with things Restore Britain, which is the one of the major parties.
Oh, you mean right now? Because 2 years later, everyone will throw that party under the bus, and then it'll be let's reclaim Great Britain or some crap like that. They probably already had that one. I'm just trying to think of one. It'll be
that's not how it is.
It'll be like 2 years from now. Then it'll be Take Back Great Britain. It'll be that's how they do it, man. Every 2 or 3 years they come up with a new party that's supposed to save Britain, and then everyone rallies around that, and then
not really. There was the UKIP party that there was the Brexit party coming from the UKIP party, which led the UK out of the European Union. From them came the Reform UK party, which is currently being led by Nigel Farage. But some people of the right are being feel disappointed by that party, although they are currently the most popular party and are supposed to replace the century-long Conservative Party in charge. And Restore Britain is one of the is a camp for those who are dissatisfied with the Reform Britain or Reform UK option, and they are very, very tough. They say we do not have to coexist with savages. Do not make peace with evil. Destroy it. Call me racist all you like, but I'm not up for getting beheaded in the streets for the sake of diversity and multiculturalism.
It's a small price to pay for multiculturalism.
Lucy White says, my message to all third world descent migrants in Great Britain and Europe: you should start self-deporting, organize your affairs, and leave on your own accord. Our tolerance has expired. You're no longer welcome. It's only a matter of time before you will be made to leave.
Pretty racist. And I see you hearted all these comments, you freaking savage.
What? Imagine the levels of propaganda it took to make you more comfortable with random beheadings and gang rapes than being called a racist. And so on and so on and so forth and so forth. So lots of stuff is happening right now, and we are watching. We'll be watching. I will not put the clip on the screen because YouTube doesn't like that kind of stuff.
Nope, you would get this would be age restricted pretty quickly.
So we will probably talk about that further, but at this point right now, I want to talk about. I don't know anything. I mean, I reposted one thing from Zuma Historian. I don't know anything about that account, honestly. I haven't further.
I'm looking. Apparently, there was some hero who fought the guy off as he was brutally murdering the other dude.
Yeah.
Matt McKiernan. Matt McKiernan. Nah, that sounds like an Irish name. McKiernan. Matt McKiernan. The McKiernan.
We're going to talk about it further, but right now we want to go after some low-hanging fruit. And what better description? Who better fits that description than SNEAKO?
That is the lowest of the low-hanging fruit. Much like Muhammad on the night of Al-Zut. That rhymed. You weren't even expecting these dope rhymes.
I had no idea. Liam of Texas, can someone make a Lego Al-Zut scene? You can do it. Liam, you can do it. I believe in you. To the Torah says the classic duo. God bless you guys, and God bless you. Losire, turn on the stream. Shirk Turk. Objective Christian. AP hasn't started because he's running. See, this is the proof. Filmatic Media. Please put up a poll on should AP make a response video to Mojab and Duck Lips as Sheikh Gipudi. The only caveat being it has to be completely in character from start to finish. LOL. What happened between the two? Or is it just a response to them in general? I don't know.
To Mojab and Duck Lips. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last time I saw that, I don't know if they started criticizing each other. I don't know why they would, but yeah, last time they were on together is when they were calling Avery's wife a whore. Which ended up being in Quran Demolition Ranch Volume 2.
They also mentioned me in that video, as far as I remember.
Oh yeah, they mentioned you. They mentioned me.
Yeah.
IP fan.
I just decided to ignore it at that point. So.
He's running. What a weakling.
Fledora, thank you for all that you guys do. Just wondering, are there any Muslim dawah or speakers that were Christians and converted to Islam? Are there any? I mean, there are some nominal Christians, some who claim that they were Christians at some point, and then converted. I don't know if there was any, if there are any of them who actually were practicing and proper knowledgeable Christians, and then converted to Islam. What do you know? I don't know. Nom name, FYI,
No,
David AP is the
no,
least
there
recent
are. No, there
Muslim
are. Like in the UK, that guy Nectarios. That was a guy. You can find videos of him arguing as a Muslim with the Christians there, and then later on, now he's a Christian. He goes by Nectarios, man.
No,
Yeah, so you have some of those guys.
Jake pretends to be LOL. That's funny. All right. Let's see. Oh, you mean, I think it's a reference to them making fun of the Ummah. That's a good idea, actually.
Oh yeah. They both. Yeah, so you got you got duck lips going, we suck, and then hijab,
We suck.
you make me sick, you make me sick. Yeah, you should have a shake your booty video responding to them.
You suck. We suck. We should.
Yes, brothers. Yes, it's true. We suck bad.
Just like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu
That's okay. But that's okay because we're just being like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Dude, this is a Christian channel, man. What's wrong with you? Filmatic media.
He did suck, man. And he does make us sick.
That's true. My bad. The response video to Mojab and Ductip should be about them bad-mouthing
There
the
we go.
Basically, Shake Your Booty would be refuting them as to their wrong. LOL.
No, brothers, no. We're crushing it.
That sounds like a good idea. All right. Let's have a look at these things.
Hey, that dude was trained in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Which dude? Oh, the guy who came to save the guy who was being beheaded.
Oh, wait, hang on. The attacker was by now shouting, and he said, I'm going to kill him. Wallahi, he's dead. Aha, get it? He said, Wallahi.
Wallahi.
All right. So no one can say he's Muslim. You're not allowed to say he's Muslim, but he was saying, Wallahi, I'll kill him.
Wallahi. Wallahi, brothers and sisters. Wallahi.
But we will have to wait until a motive is found.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly happened to the victim at this point.
Hey, you know what's funny?
What?
The guy who went and jumped on the dude, like jumped on the guy who was Wallahi, I'll kill him. Someone set up a GoFundMe, said buy this guy a pint of beer. it's got 9,000 in it now. It's got a lot of pints. That's cool. Yep. That's a good cause. That dude should have free beer for life. Free pints for life for that dude.
Asylum seeker from Sudan attempted to decapitate Stephen Ogilvy, a man in his 40s, with a kitchen knife. Ogilvy survived and was hospitalized in serious condition with major injuries to his eyes, face, and back. Police said the attack was not being treated as terrorism, but the investigation is in the early stages. I'm not sure what his situation is right now. The victim's situation, he seems to be in serious condition. I heard that he is part blind or lost his hearing or something. I'm not entirely sure. There doesn't seem to be much information on what actually happened to the victim at the moment. People are brutally outraged at what they have just seen happen in their own streets. So, yeah.
I mean, if he just survives that's pretty darn good, because that dude was slashing his face, eyes, and neck.
It's so funny how the media frames this. Anti-immigrant protesters flare up across Belfast after knife attack. Knife attack. This is just so ridiculous, man.
That's how it was a knife attack, man.
That's how Reuters puts it. Anti-immigrant protests flare up across Belfast after knife attack.
Bigoted, racist, Islamophobic, anti-immigrant protests flare up as knife accidentally stabs a man.
And it was an attempted beheading, not just a stabbing or a knife attack. Maybe they could add this little detail here. CBS News at least said brutal stabbing attack in Belfast sparks calls for anti-immigration protests in Northern Ireland. All right. I hope it does something, because the time has come for people to say, we are sick of this. We are absolutely sick with this. It's time to put an end to it. This is not normal, man. In no reasonable country would this kind of sickness be tolerated for this long. It should be done by now. Millions should be deported. Millions should be sent back, sent away. Millions should be deported. And nobody should be language policed or anything like that anymore at this point. It's time to wake up.
Or anyone who criticizes or objects to being beheaded in the name of Allah can be sent to prison for their Facebook posts. That's all I'm saying.
Or that.
That's the other direction they could go with it.
Or
that's the direction they've been going with it.
Or that, yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at Mr. SNEAKO here.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen this, but got multiple requests.
Well, yeah,
I said, haven't seen this, but multiple people requested, hey, respond to SNEAKO's video about why he became Muslim. And what I said was, it had better be consistent, because I've seen people in the past, and I mentioned John Loftus here. John Loftus's original book about how he left Christianity and became an atheist. His original version was, he was in a church, and then there was a scandal with him and a stripper or something like that, and the church was very mean to him, and so he said, you don't know who you're messing with. I will destroy Christianity because you are coming against me right now. And so that was basically the story. By the time you get to the third version 3 of his testimony book, it's like that thick, and it's like all this evidence that he studied that caused him to leave Christianity, and all this information that he found after years of careful study. And it's like, dude, you kind of making that up as you go along there. But SNEAKO, we saw, because he told us when he converted it. And then I found out that the book of the Council of Nicaea was removed from the Bible, and I was like, what's this? And so I converted to Islam. So anyway, the point is, it better not be more sophisticated than that by now. That's all I'm saying. But it will be interesting seeing what it was, because we can kind of never tell. What makes you think that Islam is true? I have no idea nowadays what makes people think Islam is true, because all the reasons that they give have all been completely destroyed. So I have zero clue what reasons they have anymore.
The victim, I just want to put this out here. There are some claims, or some people. There are some rumors and some claims that the victim in Belfast was already deaf, and but there is no proper verification for it. But the Muslim slashed his eyes, and according to reports, tried to gouge his eyes out and damage them. So we're going to see what happened to him in the end, and how he will get out of the hospital. But this should be a wake-up call to all of the Western nations. All of the Western nations, wake up.
Well, you would think that the 9/11 attacks and the 7/7 bombings and the endless terrorist attacks and the truck murdering people, all the concert attacks in France and in the UK, and you'd think any of that would be a wake-up call. It never is.
I think the good thing about now, you might not know this, David, but the good thing about white people and Western people in general is, you as an outsider might not know this, but they happen to be very patient and very slow to react. But once they react, things get a little bit messy. We have seen this over and over again, and it probably shouldn't be left to that stage where things start getting messy. Anyway, Belfast victim is deaf. Attacker took his eyes. Bill Warfield gifted one impossible membership. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ezra Gregory, it's hard to feel bad for these refugees when they attack people in the streets like this. Yeah, you shouldn't feel bad for them. GV David, you must debate everyone on every given topic now. Debate me as to which is the best root beer for floats, AW or mug. Why are you running, David?
The best root beer. Oh, you mean particular root beer? Yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't had one of those since I was a kid. Hey, although for those of you who I mentioned this a couple years ago or something like that, but Nabil actually thought he invented the root beer float. It was funny. He had a bowl of vanilla ice cream and a mug of root beer, and he took a bite of ice cream and then took a drink of the root beer, and he goes, and then he put it, and then he started bragging about how he invented this awesome thing, and we had to break it to him that nope, that had been around for a long time. It'd be like a dude like spreading some peanut butter on some sandwich and then spills some jelly on there. He's like, oh, this is good. Hey, I just invented peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Nice. Anyway, let's watch SNEAKO.
Muslim is submitting to brown people. Someone said, wait, a white person becoming Muslim is submitting to brown people? Submission to brown people. But here's the funny thing. Do you know who's
Muhammad's
actually
white.
submitting to brown people? Christians. Literally. Don't get offended when I say this, but they say, no, I don't want, Muslim is the brown religion. They say that. This is the brown religion.
Islam true?
This whole conversation is just so weird to me.
What are we watching, man?
This whole conversation is so weird.
This started off, I thought it was going to be, hey, SNEAKO, why did you convert to Islam? Oh, well, I'll tell you. And I thought we were going to get an explanation. Like, what? No, Christianity is you submitting to brown people.
As a brown person.
Brown Jews. So submit. Matter of fact, I will put up the sources on the screen that shows that Muhammad was white. He was super white. His armpits were white. His legs were white. Body part by body part, he was white. And even the Zutno, every little part was white. They all know it. We all know about how white he was. But you Christians are the ones who submit to a brown person. That's why I converted to Islam, because I want to submit to a white person.
I don't even understand why is SNEAKO being subjected to this, considering that SNEAKO himself is brown. I don't even get it. But anyway.
Yeah, but he kind of rolls with a lot of white supremacists, man.
That sounds like an identity crisis.
Christian, I want to know your perspective.
But yeah, Christianity, anybody who said, obviously this doesn't represent all Christians. It's this faction online that doesn't, they just keep on coping, and it's sad. The real submission of brown people is Christianity, because Jesus is a brown to olive skinned man. Muslims don't worship and don't.
Browned
olive skinned.
Browned olive
He's
skinned?
browned olive skinned.
Browned
Did he say
olive.
browned? Did he say browned?
He did say browned.
Hang on,
I was
go
kind of
back.
expecting him to say browned olive skinned.
Christianity, because Jesus is a brown to olive skinned man. Muslims
Browned olive
Browned.
skinned.
don't worship and don't submit to a skin color. The reason Islam is the truth, to answer the TTS, is because there's only one creator. Jesus did not exist when God created Jesus. Cut out the middleman. You don't pray to anybody else except God. That's why I'm
and Muhammad.
What a conversation.
SNEAKO, you literally say, peace be upon you, O prophet, every time you're praying, which is basically every time someone's recording you pray.
In order to become a Muslim, you must not just testify that there is only one God and that is Allah. You must also testify that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and that you will follow him and obey him. The Quran commands Muslims to directly obey him and never question Muhammad, to listen to him and to obey him, to put him as judge over all your affairs.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that verse, Surah 4, verse 65, says that you have to accept all of Muhammad's decisions and accept them with full submission. You can only, SNEAKO, you can only submit to your imaginary creator Allah by submitting to Muhammad. Boom, right there. What's it say right there? But no, by your Lord, they will not truly believe. You can't be a real Muslim until they make you, super white Muhammad, judge concerning that over which they dispute among themselves, and then find within themselves no discomfort from what you have judged, and submit in full willing submission to, what is that? That's submitting to Muhammad's decisions.
This is a very funny choice of words for the ayah, for the verse here. Judge until they make you, Muhammad, judge concerning that over which they dispute among themselves, and then find within themselves no discomfort from what you have judged, and submit in full submission, which is the same word that is used for the core of Islam when you submit to Allah. Right? When Muslims say, we submit only to one creator, we submit to Allah, it is using in Arabic the exact same word of submission, that only when they make you, Muhammad, a judge over the things they have disputes over, then they are in full submission. Then they fully submit and are in full submission. So you must submit to Muhammad's judgments in order to be a Muslim. That is Islam. Islam isn't just submitting to the one almighty creator. It is also submitting to the little god, the demigod, Muhammad.
It removes the idea of a nation being in charge. You see people in the chat, they say like, submit to Rome.
This is why all of you Muslim converts start speaking Arabic, right? Because it removes that whole idea. This is why you make Arab culture and Arabism superior over everything. This is why the entirety of North Africa and the Middle East have become Arabized, right? And have abandoned their ethnic origins and their linguistics and have completely been Arabized, because you don't care about a nation or anything at all, right?
Yeah, because again, SNEAKO, no, this is just submitting to God, the creator. Okay, well, the creator, according to Islam, is absolutely obsessed with all of you walking, talking, speaking, praying, thinking, even going to the bathroom and dressing like a 7th century Arab. Why? Because he says you have to submit to all of Muhammad's decisions, and Surah 33 verse 21 says that Muhammad is the pattern of conduct. And so they read all these stories about Muhammad and say, oh, we have to imitate him, but he's doing everything the way a 7th century Arab does them. And so they have to dress and speak and pray and everything like a 7th century Arab. But he's sitting here mocking someone saying, "What, go to Rome?" But what would they mean in that situation? They mean like become Roman Catholic, right? They don't mean like everyone has to start speaking Italian now. And
no, akhi, wallahi, Islam doesn't care at all about culture and nation and nationality and all that. Wallahi, brother, wallahi, habibi, it doesn't matter at all whether you speak Arabic or this and that.
Jesus wasn't from Rome, dummy. What are you talking about?
What kind of stupid logic is that? I mean, look. Wait a minute, hang on.
Of a nation being in... It removes the idea of a nation being in charge. You see people in the chat, they say like, submit to Rome. Jesus wasn't from Rome, dummy. What are you talking about?
Look,
that's not what they mean, SNEAKO. Like, I'm not Catholic, but that's not what they mean, dummy.
Exactly. I am not agreeing at all with the Roman Catholics, but
ain't nobody right here agreeing with you Roman Catholics. But with that said, SNEAKO don't even understand what you guys are saying at all.
Whether Jesus is from Rome or in Rome or not is entirely irrelevant to the point that they are making, dude. Gosh.
I'm Muslim because it's the only religion that makes logical sense. It's a logical explanation for things.
Where?
With Trinity, no matter how many times you try to describe it, makes absolutely no sense, bro.
Oh, really? Hey,
It
but
makes no sense.
yeah, but let me guess that God with two right arms and and one shin and little feet popping out of the end of his one shin, just hobbling around like that. That God who eternally breathes out his spirit and eternally speaks out his word, and then his spirit appears as a man and his word appears as a man. And then not only that, but the word that he speaks out, the Quran, actually is not just a pale man who appears at the judgment, but he also appears as individual flocks of birds for each chapter of the Quran. Each chapter of the Quran appears as a flock of birds that intercede with you the same way that Allat, Al-Uzza, and Manat were believed to intercede by the pagans. So the pagans believe that Allah is the supreme God, but they believe that Allat, Al-Uzza, and Manat were these intercessors. They could take your prayers up to Allah. So you had these bird goddesses who were your intercessors. Muhammad says, no, that's pagan, that's pagan, after he revealed it, saying, yes, they can intercede for you. That's the satanic verses. But then later on, he says that chapters of the Quran will be your intercessors. There'll be flocks of birds. So not just 3 bird goddesses, you'll have entire flocks of birds interceding with Allah for you. And so anyway, that just makes much more logical sense to SNEAKO. But guys, think even a little part of that. The Quran appears as a pale man. The Quran appears as a pale man to intercede for you. But within that one pale man are 114 flocks of birds, which are each intercessors for you. So 114 flocks of birds are all combined within the one, and they act as one. And what were you guys whining about with the Trinity here? What were you saying doesn't make sense? I'm interested. I'd be interested to know.
Islam makes complete sense. Islam is the most logical religion. Look, let me explain it to you. So you have one God, right? One God who is the creator of all things. Allah, the Almighty. Allahu Akbar. Allah. He creates Adam and Eve. Then he has his servants in paradise, among whom are Shaitan, who is made of fire. Allah creates Adam and says to all his servants, to all the angels, and to Shaitan, bow down to this guy, Adam. Shaitan says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm made of fire. Allah says prostrate to Adam. Shaitan says, well, no, I'm not prostrating to anybody. I'm not prostrating to any man. I'm made of fire. This guy is made of sand or dirt. I'm not prostrating to any man. Allah is like, all right, if you're not prostrating to this man, then you will be punished and you will become evil forever. And Shaitan says, all right, okay, then I will lead your human servants astray until the end. And Allah is like, all right, okay, fine, you can do that. You're free to do that. Allah, meanwhile, creates all human beings that he created just so they worship him. This is the entire purpose. Allah creates all humans and jinns, parallel beings, in the fire beings in the desert of Arabia, adopted from pre-Islamic Arab polytheistic mythology with no foundations at all in Christian or biblical or Jewish history. He creates humans and jinns just so they worship him, Allah. However, the majority of humans will not worship him. So despite the fact that he created humans just so they worship him, Allah will end up throwing most of the humans that he created just so they worship him into a fire where he will torture them forever. And why will he torture them forever? Because they did not believe in him. Why did they not believe in him? Because it is Allah himself who, before he created everybody, decided whether they believe in him or not. So Allah, when he created all human beings and the jinn, he decided, okay, this one will believe in me, this one will not believe in me, this one will believe in me, this one will not believe in me. Which is why the Quran says that nobody can believe or disbelieve unless by Allah's permission. It is Allah himself who decides whether you believe or disbelieve in him. So it is Allah himself who decides that you will believe and will then make you go to heaven and worship him forever. And it is Allah himself who decides that you will not believe in him and will therefore be tortured in hell forever, despite the fact that he created all humans just so they worship him. And some just so they fail to worship him and are brutally punished and tortured in hell forever. This message was, of course, preached in the Torah, but then that message got lost. It got corrupted by the Jews. Actually, that's not entirely clear what exactly happened there. Then Allah sent Jesus, the Messiah, to bring the beautiful message, confirming what came before him and affirming the truth of Allah, the gospel, to everybody. But Jesus immediately failed during his own lifetime. The great Messiah, the Savior that Allah sent, failed immediately. Nobody really knows what he actually taught. And then, despite his giant failure, 600 years later, in some desert, despite the fact that the prophets always came from among the Israelites, some Arab guy appeared in Arabia and said, "Hey, I came here to correct Allah's message." 600 years later, I came here to correct Allah's message. Jesus was never killed, by the way. He was never crucified. And here are all these things were totally, totally confirmed in the Gospel and the Torah, although you will never find them in the Gospel and the Torah. Now let me preach you about all these things. This is how much sense Islam makes.
Hey,
It's
yo,
logical religion.
you want to know what's funny?
What?
That story, because you may not know this, but Muhammad was known as the ear because he would believe whatever people were telling him. You did have some stories circulating about this, but as usual, they don't make sense in Islam. They don't make sense in Islam. I can think of 2 hadiths which talk about Adam being created in the image of God, and Muslims try to downplay them because they don't understand that it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with what Islam teaches. But you do find this story about God commanding the angels to bow down to Adam, but it's because he's the image of God. He's something even greater than the angels. He's the image of God. This is in Jewish sources. So this is from the life of Adam and Eve. Between third and 5th century. 3rd and 5th century, right? Listen to this. And Michael went out and called to all the angels, "Worship the image of God as the Lord God has commanded." And Michael himself worshipped first. Then he called me. This is Satan speaking. Then he called me and said, "Worship the image of the Lord God." And I answered, "It is not for me to worship Adam." And since Michael kept urging me to worship, I said to him, "Why do you urge me? I will not worship an inferior and younger being than I. I am his senior in the creation. Before he was made, I was already made. It is his duty to worship me." So, but notice here, it's the angels are commanded to bow down and worship Adam. The angels obey. Satan refuses because he's a superior being. And what do you find in the Quran? Satan, all the angels are ordered to bow down. Satan, even though they say he's a jinn, is somehow required to bow down as well. And Satan says, "No, he's made from clay. I'm made from fire. I'm higher than him. I'm better than him." Yet another story stolen from apocryphal sources. In other words, they're not sources that we take as authentic. We don't believe this actually happened, but it's clear where the story is coming from. But when Muhammad takes the story, it doesn't make sense because he's leaving out why the angels were told to bow down to Adam. This is God has created his image, and he orders even angels to bow down to this image. Satan says, "No, he's younger than me and I'm superior to him, so it should be the other way around." And then Satan, of course, becomes enraged.
Nice.
No, he gets kicked out of heaven because of this.
Nice. As he should be.
Isn't that
I
interesting?
know it is. I mean, it looks like it's just one of those many instances where Muhammad simply copied things from people before him.
Has anyone, by the way, has anyone pointed this out? Like,
No.
because I'll have to check with
Make a
Defending a
video
Lion. He goes through all the Talmud and sources like that to see if it's elsewhere. But no, it was completely disconnected. Someone was talking about the life of Adam and Eve, and I was listening to it. Yeah, and Satan was told to bow down and worship the image of God. I was reading about the image of God, and this is one of the sources on the image of God and stuff. And but I was like, oh my goodness, that's where he got that. But I don't know that's where he got it because that story might have been in like 10 sources for all I know. So I'll have to check on that. But
You should make a video
once I
about that.
check, that'd be a nice little video that proves yet again that Muhammad was in fact the ear.
You should make a video about that, man.
And so I shall.
I know when I talk about the whole predestination and absurdity part, although I think it is significantly more absurd in Islam than anywhere else I have heard. Some people like to bring up Calvinism. And so some people were joking that I'm destroying Calvinism or something like that.
AP is wrecking Calvinism.
And I wouldn't ever claim to do such a thing.
I will. We're wrecking Calvinism. No, here's the thing. If you bring up a criticism against Islam, and it would also apply to someone else, it's up to the defenders of that position to show, hey, they've got a response to it.
Precisely, precisely. I mean, I'm not going to say, "Oh no, I don't at all mean Calvinism. I would never." No, I'm just.
Calvinists are big boys; they can defend themselves. They have some super smart people on their side.
I cannot talk to Calvinism because I don't. I mean, I have been studying quite a bit of it and have been trying to understand the whole predetermination aspect of it more, and it seems absurd to me at this point. However, I would not sit here and try to debunk Calvinism or anything like that. So take that as ye wish. Hey guys.
Hey, you got Cyril Lucaris, an ecumenical patriarch, was Calvinist. Suck on that.
Oh, you see.
Yeah, in your face.
I know about that actually. Hey guys, I got a new black dog. I named him Prophet Muhammad. Treats be upon him. Momo for short. God bless you guys. That's very, very nice.
Momo's a good name for a black dog.
Greetings to Momo. Catholic s'mores. They had root beer during your childhood. Nice. Bo Rudder, I don't even understand why people like that stuff. It tastes disgusting. It tastes like medicine mixed with Coca-Cola, mixed with some sugar, mixed with...
Have you ever had a root beer float, man?
Mixed with detergent, mixed with some other things. It's disgusting.
And fermented cat urine.
Yeah. Brown to olive-skinned man. Stephen White, I attached a video to the post. Is that SNEAKO at 609? It'll make a good laugh if it is. I cannot see it. I cannot follow it closely. I personally know at least 5 people from middle-class India who had such terrible experiences in UK that they prefer India over UK. Pray for Europe. I know, I've talked to others who have said, I came here to the West because I thought it's going to be a better place than these Muslim countries. And now I kind of want to go back. Honey Tea, YouTube is messing with the channel, buffering every 2 seconds. YouTube does messed up things, but thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate that. I would recommend reloading and stuff.
Oh yeah, are other people complaining about that? If not, it's probably that person's computer. I mean, like that person's connection.
I haven't seen others complaining, but I see lots of weird stuff going on with YouTube recently. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. I shall continue with super chats in a little while.
That they're the Father is the Son, but they're co-equal. But the Father made the Son. But that describe it.
Did he just say the Father is the Son?
Wait,
Did he just
say
say
makes
that?
No sense at all.
Well, yeah, especially if you don't get it, especially if you don't even define it correctly.
Wait, let him explain it, man.
It makes no sense at all. That they're the Father is the Son, but they're co-equal. But the Father made the Son, but they're the same. It doesn't. There's.
David, does that sound accurate?
No.
Why?
Well, the main reason is SNEAKO is apparently, after years now of interacting with people, still a complete moron. No one is saying the Father is the Son.
I mean, you could have done a little bit of.
Well, I guess you would have some. You would have some people who are regarded as heretical who claim that the Father is the Son.
So he took this basic idea and completely misrepresented it because he just doesn't get it. So, why do you talk about things you don't understand? Why do you talk about very, very simple things that you just do not understand, that you just don't know about? It's not even a complicated topic, right? You can just, if you want to have an opinion on it and want to share your opinion on it, at least bother sitting down for 5 minutes and reading on it. This is not in line with what SNEAKO just said, for example. So it is the Father is. What happened to my buttons just now? Wait a minute. It is the Father is God, the Son is God, the Father is not the Son, and so on. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's just co-equal, but the Father made the Son, but they're the same. It doesn't. It's just cope to try to admit. No offense, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. A lot of Christians will even admit it too, that it just doesn't make any sense logically.
The only Christians that I've ever heard who said it doesn't make any sense are people who say they were raised Christians, or they were at some point, probably they were at some point raised as a Christian or went to some Christian school or something, but then ended up not believing in it and are now online atheists or converts or something. I've never heard a single Christian.
No, or he could be thinking of a Christian who would say, okay, it's beyond our things about God are beyond our human comprehension. So actually getting your mind around, which is weird because these are the guys who say, oh, but in Islam, things are so simple. No. I mean, God Logic's recent interaction with Ali Dawa, he was keeping it simple. He's like, okay, so is Allah a spirit or is he physical? Ali Dawa would not answer. He said, we don't know. It's like, what the heck? You don't know if he's spirit or physical? And so it's stuff like that they won't even say, because, and all Ali Dawa kept saying is, there's nothing like him. There's nothing like him. There's nothing like him. And God Logic's actually slowing things down and go, okay, I exist. Allah exists. So are we alike in that we both exist? And so Ali Dawa would reluctantly agree to that. But the point is, hey, SNEAKO, all this, oh, Allah's really simple to understand. One, if you ever are told about a God who's super easy to understand and fits really well inside your brain, that is a complete pagan deity, right? And the fact that you would want something like that, like something obviously made up by humans so that human beings can understand him, that would already be a pagan religion if that's the goal of your religion. But apart from that, when you actually look at what Islam teaches about Allah, it makes no sense, buddy. It makes no sense.
Even when I was an atheist,
they're just keeping this from you, SNEAKO, because they know you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know all that about Islam.
Even when I was an atheist, I repeatedly, I said back then, I really have no idea why some people suggest that the Trinity is this very, very highly illogical or a very, very difficult, extremely difficult suggestion or anything like that. I really do not, or how it can be used as an argument against Christianity. I never thought of it as something very, very much very difficult or very, very terrible, very illogical or anything like that. I mean, I had problems with different aspects of Christianity, never with the Trinity. It's just at best you can say that that certain aspects of it are beyond your comprehension, because it is God that you are speaking about, right? It is God that you are speaking about. So similarly, for example, in Islam, you also believe that Allah is everywhere at the same time, or has his attention everywhere at the same time, listens to prayers everywhere at the same time, and also descends to the lowest heaven and goes up to the sky to listen to prayers all at the same time. How is all of that possible at the same time? This doesn't make any sense. You could just say you can't wrap your head around it. But in Islam, it actually goes further than that. In Islam, it actually does not make sense. Because as I just said, in Islam, you actually do believe that Allah comes down to the lowest heaven at night and then goes back up again after he has listened to enough prayers. Considering the fact that it is always night somewhere on the earth, and Allah comes down at night to the lowest heaven, that would mean that Allah would have to be staying at the lowest heaven all the time while also going up there all the time. It is all just completely nonsensical. But they never apply these little questions to their own religion, which makes these idiotic suggestions. In comparison, there is nothing difficult or even illogical about the Trinity. Nothing at all.
What makes sense logically is that there's one creator. It starts with one. Not
logically, logic, one creator, you see, logic.
If he still thinks we don't believe in one creator, one God who created, he's
there
a
is
moron.
one creator.
But there's not just one creator even in Islam, because Jesus also creates in Islam, SNEAKO. Jesus imitates Allah, makes clay birds, and then breathes the spirit into them and they fly away. So Jesus is co-creator in Islam. Stop embarrassing yourself, dude. How's this guy been a Muslim for years now? He still doesn't know the basics of Christianity to even criticize it, and still doesn't know the basics of Islam to not realize he's contradicting Islam every sentence he says.
Howard, I'm in a big room. I haven't set up my place properly yet. This is why I'm so echoey. That might be it.
You sound normal to me. I don't know what he's talking about.
3. Not 3. So, yeah, that's it. There's no gods worthy of worship except God. Yeah.
David, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
There's no gods worthy of worship except God.
Yep. There's no other God that's worthy of worship except God.
Wait, that means you're a Muslim?
Egyptian texts say Prophet Muhammad had really white skin and Prophet Jesus isn't.
Yeah. We don't depict Prophet Muhammad.
They actually You make the super chat in Trump's voice. That's funny.
That's funny. Hey, how'd everyone find out that Muhammad had really white skin? This guy.
That was you.
To call him for that reason.
I did that.
It's Muhammad, for an Arab, peace be upon him, was fairer skinned. Jesus was a dark, like Palestinian Semite Jew. Brown to olive skin. It says this in the Bible, doesn't it?
I'm white, born and raised Muslim, and I still don't get it. Why the fuck do
Sorry for the language.
But yeah, SNEAKO show.
It's kind of so funny how he's just putting these words together. He was a Palestinian Semite Jew. He was a Jew. He
Yeah.
was a Jew. That's it. Semite is not an ethnicity. It's a language group, and it's something that is rather modern applied. Otherwise, it was regarded as a lineage, but it is not in any sense considered an ethnicity or anything like that. So you don't say this person is a Semite, this person is a Semite. Anti-Semitism or anti-Semite is used nowadays because it was actually coined by a racially anti-Jewish guy who specifically wanted to say that we are anti-Semites, not anti-Jews. We are not against them because of their religion. We are against them because of their race. That's why anti-Semitism is being used today. It was coined by an anti-Jewish racist guy. From that, people like SNEAKO are ignorantly thinking, oh, Semite is an ethnicity, and Jews are claiming that anti-Jewishness is anti-Semitic, but the real Semites are these people. Semite is not a thing. Stop saying that stupid word.
some people?
It's an American thing, and it's getting pushed a lot. This falsehood is getting pushed a lot by people within this space. You know, this idea of race worship. It doesn't exist the same way outside of America. It's a very American thing. It's also because it gives you a feeling
Salam
of superiority.
SNEAKO. Surah Gaffer verse 56 perfectly describes these
I'm gonna
people.
look it up. So a lot of the people, they have nothing going on. And so if you have no accomplishments, if you have a feeling of inferiority, if you have no achievements, you can fall back on your race. My ancestors did this. What's funny too is they make fun of black people. They say, we was kangs, when black people talk about being kings in Africa. And now you hear the same exact thing from white people. Oh, we was Romans, and they keep talking about their ancestors. White people built this, white people did this. Yeah, but what did you do? Nothing. You didn't do anything. You've done nothing in your life but troll in my TTS or like just type things on the internet and say rape SNEAKO. Like, don't you see the problem here? You act like whiteness is superior, but if it was, then you would have accomplishments and you've done nothing. And they feel inferior. They feel this weakness, and to feel better about it, they fall back on their skin color.
This is very sad.
I'm superior because I'm white. We built this and we did this. Okay, great. Now what? Are you your ancestors' achievements? No, you are what you do now today. So,
And despite how stupid he generally is, I can agree with some aspects of that. That said, culture still matters a lot.
and a Christian to TTS earlier and said, like, why are you Muslim? You want to know? For the people that want to know, look into who.
Finally, here we are.
Okay.
And a Christian to TTS earlier and said, like, why are you Muslim? You want to know? For the people that want to know, look into who Paul the Apostle is.
What the heck? Wait, what? What the heck? Do you want to know why I'm a Muslim? Look into who Paul the Apostle was. Are you freaking kidding me? Y'all hear that? You want to know why I'm Muslim? Look into who Paul the Apostle was. Hey guys, why are you a Muslim? Well, check out Paul the Apostle. If you check out Paul the Apostle, by golly, you'll say, aha, this is the proof that Muhammad was a true prophet and that I have to listen to him. What an idiot, man.
You want to know who wrote the most books in the Bible? It's Paul the Apostle. He was persecuting the early followers of Jesus before the Trinity existed, before this idea was
Really? What? Why did nobody tell me this?
pushed by the church hundreds of years after Jesus was alive.
Wait, what? Wait, what the heck did he say? Go back.
Wait.
Hundreds of years. Who is he talking about? Hang on.
You want to know? Look into who Paul the Apostle is.
Okay.
You want to know who wrote? You want to know from the Bible? It's Paul the Apostle. He was persecuting the early followers of Jesus before the Trinity existed, before this idea was pushed by the church, hundreds of years after Jesus was alive or was walking on this earth.
Hang on.
It was pushed by the church. Early followers of Jesus before the Trinity existed, before this idea was pushed by the church, hundreds of years after Jesus was alive or was walking on this earth.
So I'm not entirely sure how he jumps from one idea to the other idea. Look who the Apostle Paul was. He wrote the majority of the books in the New Testament. Okay, fine.
What in the name of common sense does that have to do with? You want to know why I converted to Islam? Check out the Apostle Paul. He started off persecuting the church. Yeah.
What does it have to do with the Trinity, which was allegedly pushed by the church hundreds of years after Jesus? The Trinity was not pushed by the church. That never happened. This is such a stupid misunderstanding that anybody who has looked into Christianity a little bit should not spread. It's nonsense. It is stupid nonsense. The only thing that did happen was that hundreds of years later, the church solidified and laid out that this is what we believe in order to counter heretical movements that did not believe what Christians already believed. And that is when the doctrine of the Trinity became a central core, laid out, dogmatic, written thing. It was all people always believed in the Trinity. People always believed in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. People always believed that Jesus existed with the Father before humans, that there is only one God in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. They believed these things in the 1st century, in the 2nd century, in the 3rd century. It might have been later laid out to tackle heresies, but that doesn't mean it was only then invented or pushed. That's complete nonsense. That is complete nonsense, man. You can read the earliest texts. You can read the Bible itself, which already makes it very, very clear. But you can also read 1st century writings. You can read the writings of Saint Ignatius of Antioch, who very, very clearly says that there is only one God in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. This wasn't pushed later on. This is complete nonsense.
Paul the Apostle was killing early Jesus followers, and on the road to Damascus, really? He was hit with a light and a sound. Boom. Oh my God. Boom. No, I'm no longer going to kill Jesus
Why
followers.
the F do some PPL act like they're God gift to earth just because they got less melanin?
Because they have nothing else in their life. They do nothing else, and they're afraid of doing anything. And so now they feel like they've done something without doing anything. And Paul gets this hit with this light and the sound, and he realizes, no, I'm no longer going to kill Jesus followers. I'm going to adopt Christianity and spread the church message around the world. This is who wrote the most books in the Bible. This is the #1 contributor in the Bible, in the New Testament. And he was a Jew killing early Jesus followers. You want to know what? He never even met Jesus. Why is this guy the authority on Christianity? Why did he write?
David.
Yep.
Wait, hang on.
Most of the Christian religion without ever meeting Jesus. If you want to follow Jesus, you say Jesus is king. I believe, yeah, Jesus should be followed. We need to listen to his teachings.
David, did the followers of Jesus, whom he himself appointed as disciples and apostles, whom he gave his mission, did they follow Paul? Did they agree with Paul?
They definitely agreed with him. By the way, the Apostle Paul said he did meet Jesus. That's 1 Corinthians 9. If you go to the first 2 chapters of Galatians, Paul explained things. Paul got his vision, whatever experience it was, on the road to Damascus. So SNEAKO got that part right. He received revelations. But the Apostle Paul also believes that Satan can masquerade as an angel of light. So Paul's actually very careful. So eventually he goes up to meet with the apostles themselves in Jerusalem. And he says, and I laid out the gospel that I'd been preaching among the Gentiles for fear that I had been running in vain. In other words, he was ready to go up to Jerusalem. If they said, what are you talking about, dude? That's not the gospel. Where are you getting your revelations? He was ready to hang it up and say, I've been misled. Said instead, nope. The apostles agreed with him.
So wait a minute. You're saying that the Apostle Paul actually ran everything by the apostles whom Jesus himself appointed?
Yep.
And they approved of it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And what's amazing there is, so you've got Paul, who receives revelations about Jesus, and he goes up and tests them. Why? Because he's actually in a really good spot to go check with eyewitnesses and so on. He's in a position to test his revelations to make sure they're actually true. Muhammad comes out of a cave. I got revelations. And then he eventually starts getting revelations about Jesus. But he's around
a revelation.
He's around a bunch of pagan polytheists. And it's amazing because all his revelations seem to be stolen from 3rd, 4th, 5th century Gnostic and apocryphal sources. And they start making fun of him, calling him the ear. And so SNEAKO's like, hey, that Apostle Paul guy, that guy who started off by attacking Christians because he definitely wasn't on the same page with them. That guy, after getting a vision and getting revelations and testing those revelations by conferring with Jesus' apostles, he got the stamp of approval from Jesus' original apostles saying, yep, this guy has true revelations. And he goes out and preaches. What kind of idiot's going to listen to that guy? You should instead listen to the Arab, the 7th century Arabian caravan robber who ended up ordering his followers to violently subjugate followers of Jesus. This is idiotic, man. This is like freaking Dawa, guys. This is what we're up against here. This level of stupid. And the thing is, SNEAKO's talking to a bunch of other people who are even stupider than he is. And they're like, oh, well, great point. Oh, yeah, can't trust Paul. Oh, yeah.
The thing is also, I think people like SNEAKO, they don't really understand what they're saying. And he's ignorant and kind of dumb.
You think?
It's not an excuse, though. But, he suggests, or he says something like, and, Paul, the Apostle Paul is the one who wrote most of the Bible. Why is he an authority? It sounds to me as if they're imagining a situation, because he himself has never actually read the works. He himself has actually never read the New Testament. I think when he says this kind of stuff, and when Muslims say this kind of stuff, and when he says this stuff with Muslims, it sounds to me as if what they're suggesting is that the writings of the Apostle Paul are a bunch of writings that are kind of like the Quran, of this is what you must do, this is what you shall do, and this is God speaking, and so on. The Apostle Paul happens to be the author of, almost half of the books of the New Testament? Not even most, right? And he happens to be the author of those writings, not because he sat down and wrote this thing that he then declared to be the Bible. It is because he wrote letters full of a doctrine, full of belief, full of the gospel to Christians, which Christians read and memorized and then canonized as part of the Bible. It's not that he was like, okay, I'm going to write this thing called the New Testament. These will be the texts of the New Testament. That's not how it happened, man. The whole idea there is completely misleading that these guys are, presenting. It's completely misleading. Secondly, he says that Paul had some vision and he saw some light, and then he decided that he no longer wants to persecute the Christians. That's also not what happened according to the text. It is Jesus himself who came and spoke to Paul, according to the text. So if you want to go by the story of the text, at least represent it correctly. Then you have the Apostle Paul going and presenting the gospel to the apostles of Jesus himself, who then approve of it and who acknowledge that he saw Jesus, that he has the gospel of Jesus, which he's spreading, that he is an apostle now. If he wants to say, oh, Paul never actually saw anything of significance and he never met Jesus, and wants to base that on his rejection of believing that Paul actually saw Jesus, then I wonder why he believes in Islam, when Islam relies on the idea that Muhammad saw the angel Gabriel in a cave. He should be applying that same skepticism to Islam and thereby doubting that Muhammad ever communicated with Allah or with his angels. Why doesn't he do that? It's because he's not consistent.
Christianity, most of the religion is not Jesus' teachings.
Yes, they are. We have the Gospels, which are very, very, very clear on what Jesus said and taught. And the New Testament is full of the Gospels and full of practice and explanation and expansion of what Jesus himself said and taught. We have it all with us.
Jesus didn't do the sign of the cross and didn't outline the prayers that is followed in the.
Well, the Bible doesn't say make the sign of. Wait, oh gosh.
The Apostle Paul said you have to make the sign of the cross. He invented that, you see. And by the way, what in the blue hell does this have to do with the question? SNEAKO, why are you Muslim? Why are you following Muhammad? Well, the Paul, I mean, God, my goodness, the Apostle Paul, oh my God, the Trinity, I mean, the Paul, I mean, he wrote all these books. I mean, starting off the Christian persecutor, I mean, Paul. I could agree with every idiotic word you've said so far. What does that have to do with why you follow Muhammad, man? And I have to say, here's what he doesn't get. SNEAKO. Paul is roughly 487 billion times more reliable than Muhammad. And I made an entire video of this. I went 25 different, I thought of 25 different ways you could compare Paul and Muhammad. And so this in terms of like morality, in terms of like miracles, all kinds of things. Their intellectual abilities, knowing the relevant languages for being able to examine the teachings of Jesus and so on. Paul was more reliable than Muhammad in all 25 ways. Every single way I could compare them, Paul was more reliable. You put all that together, he is massively, like insanely more reliable than Muhammad. And you're saying, well, I can't trust Paul, therefore, let me trust the guy who's 487 billion times less reliable than him. That makes sense, SNEAKO. If you're extremely stupid, which you are.
This is a perfect example. I mean,
To listen to his teachings. Christianity, most of the religion is not Jesus' teachings. Jesus didn't do the sign of the cross and didn't.
what does the sign of the cross have to do with any of this?
He
This
just,
is a great
seems like
example
he's a
of
little
how-
familiar with Catholicism from growing up, and then he just reacts to that all the time.
Well, the Orthodox also do the sign of the cross, but it's like it shows his ignorance here of like, oh, but in Christianity they do the sign of the cross. and what
Therefore,
does it do
Islam.
with Jesus.
Jesus didn't do the sign of the cross, therefore Islam.
The church, the Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, and others that also do the sign of the cross acknowledge that it is not a practice that literally, physically is commanded or started in the New Testament. It is a practice that started very early on. You have records of it in the 2nd century, where Christians generally trace the cross on their own bodies, or from their heads to their upper bodies. So it becomes a thing to identify themselves as Christians and as a reminder. So they start doing it in churches, but and then within the church tradition, it becomes a thing that when God is mentioned, when the Trinity is mentioned, you do the sign of the cross. When you enter, you do the sign of the cross. You honor the cross. You honor God. You honor the Trinity. You honor Christianity and all that. But what in the world does that have to do with what is being talked about here? It's not like this was. It's not like the Apostle Paul wrote down, "And all Christians shall henceforth do the sign of the cross, despite the fact that Jesus never commanded any such thing." What is he even criticizing here? And as David just pointed out, what in the world does this have to do with the question, why did you become a Muslim?
Nothing.
This is so stupid, man.
And outline the prayers that is followed in the Catholic Church. Islam, the rules are created by Allah. You see that we have the Quran, and then we follow the Sunnah, the life of and sayings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
The Sunnah.
Oh, so a dude.
The Sunnah.
A dude.
The Sunnah.
The stuff that a dude said and did.
The Sunnah.
Yeah, that.
Stuff that was written down long after Muhammad His body was rotten in the ground.
Yep.
Stuff that was established as something to follow long, long, long after the pedophile rapist was dead and buried.
And SNEAKO.
Isn't that what he just criticized about Christianity, allegedly, in his poor understanding?
Yes. Hey, SNEAKO, how do you become a Muslim? How do you become a Muslim? By reciting the Shahada, right? Where does Allah say that Shahada?
Yeah.
Where does Allah say that? Where did Allah say all the things you're supposed to say during your prayers? Where did Allah say all the things you're supposed to do during the Hajj? These all come from a man, dude. A guy who's way less reliable than Paul. And where do your beliefs about Jesus come from? This guy. Stupid, man.
Stupid. Praying 5 times a day. This is an argument that Quran only Muslims make nowadays, or Quranists or Quran only Muslims make nowadays. They say we don't have to pray 5 times a day. Why do they say that? Because praying 5 times a day is not found in the Quran. It is something that is later on found in reports of Muhammad, written down long after the death of Muhammad, or preserved and then collected and authenticated long after the death of Muhammad. Rules and traditions established by humans long after the death of Muhammad. And it's so ridiculous, man. It is so freaking ridiculous. When it comes to Christianity, and you want to acknowledge the sources, you have multiple people every single time witnessing the revelation. You have people witnessing the miracles. You have hundreds of people witnessing Jesus throughout his life, his death, his crucifixion, his resurrection, which even Bart Ehrman and others acknowledge. You have people witnessing all this stuff. You have people witnessing the miracles. You have people witnessing things. And then those people who witnessed it delivering to us further what Jesus said and Jesus taught. When it comes to Islam, you have nothing, man, nothing. You have this 7th century desert dweller lunatic who almost wanted to unalive himself, allegedly receiving revelations through an angel who wanted to choke him in the desert, in the cave. They choked me in the desert. And you have no witnesses at all to the miraculous nature of this. You have no witnesses to anything at all. You just trust that guy. And on top of that, centuries after that guy dies, a horrible death, you have humans come in and say things about him and then make rules, and that is the religion that you follow. You're not even aware of this. You don't have any standards. You think that Christianity is the very same thing that Islam actually is, because you're stupid and ignorant. Very, very bad. David, stop calling him stupid, man. Why are you so mean to people?
The way he prayed, the way he acted, it goes right to the source, the prophet. The majority of Christianity is not following Jesus at all. It's Paul, this Jew who was killing early followers of Jesus. When you make that connection and you realize that, wait, I'm supposed to be worshiping Jesus. I want to follow Jesus. I want to listen to his teachings. Then why do I need this guy? He's not even a prophet. Why is this guy even an authority? Why don't...
Good question. Why? Look at the Quran.
He's an apostle, dummy.
The Quran itself acknowledges that Jesus had disciples. Why did Jesus have disciples? Why not just follow Jesus?
Yeah. It's also pretty interesting how the early Muslim commentators gave the thumbs up to the Apostle Paul as well.
Yeah.
Because they realized if Allah in Surah 61 verse 14 said that he helped the true followers of Jesus until they became uppermost, and the Christians who became uppermost believed in Paul, they couldn't have gotten that wrong because Allah was helping them. Allah was helping them get things right. And therefore, they had to affirm Paul. Later on, Muslims realized, ooh, this stuff from the 1st century doesn't line up with Islam at all. What are we going to do here? We need to blame someone. So they blamed the Apostle Paul. And now you have like anyone who's asked, why do you believe in Islam? Well, the Apostle Paul. Why are you blaming Paul? Paul, according to SNEAKO, overpowered Allah. Allah, Surah 3, verse 55. Allah promises Jesus that he's going to take care of his followers until the day of resurrection. He's going to make them uppermost until the day of resurrection. That's a long time that Allah's promising to protect Jesus' followers. SNEAKO's story is the Apostle Paul came right in there and just ruined it all and then tricked Allah into helping the wrong group become uppermost. That's what SNEAKO is telling us. So, AP, check this out, right? Just do the math here. Do the math here, everyone. Okay, so you've got Muhammad here. This is a guy SNEAKO says we need to listen to. We need to listen to what Muhammad said. But Muhammad is a slave and a prophet of the great God Allah. Allah. So there's Muhammad, and then there's the God of Muhammad. That's Allah. But according to SNEAKO, Allah was completely overpowered and crushed by the Apostle Paul, who completely thwarted Allah's plan, just smacked Allah around like a total rag doll. But the Apostle Paul called himself a mere bondservant of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so you got Muhammad, his God is Allah. His God was completely overpowered and wrecked by the Apostle Paul, and the Apostle Paul is a mere bondservant of the risen Lord Jesus Christ via the transitive property. Who should we be listening to, SNEAKO? The guy at the very bottom, Muhammad? And I don't just mean like in the Zut sense he's at the bottom. I mean, he's at the bottom of this. Like, why would we be listening to that guy who preached this God who completely got crushed by the Apostle Paul, who's a mere bondservant of the Lord Jesus Christ? Why wouldn't you go with the Lord Jesus Christ and not the least reliable person on the spectrum there? Stupid.
If you ask SNEAKO whether he's a Sunni Muslim or a Shia Muslim, he will say that he's a Sunni Muslim. Why is he a Sunni Muslim? Why not just follow Muhammad? Sunni Muslims are a branch that are contrary to the Shia Muslims. They established themselves as a branch according to a certain tradition of succession and of reports of things that Muhammad said and did, and that you should do and should not do. A preservation of the Quran and a version of the Quran that you should read, a lineage of people that you should follow versus a lineage of people that you should not acknowledge or not follow. Why is he a Sunni Muslim? Why isn't he just a Mohammedan? Why doesn't he just follow Muhammad? In Sunni Islam, you should be following Islamic scholars who have established theological schools and jurisprudential schools. Why would you follow any of those things? Why not just follow Muhammad? Why do you not just follow Allah, considering that Muhammad is just the messenger, the prophet of Allah? He's only the messenger. Why do you follow the messenger instead of just following Allah? He just said it right here. He follows the Sunnah, the teachings, the practices of Muhammad, the messenger. He's called the messenger. He brings the message of Allah that you are supposed to follow. Why is he not just following the message that is being brought, but instead following the messenger, Muhammad, according to traditions that were written about him hundreds of years after Muhammad died? Rules made by his followers hundreds of years after Muhammad died. Why is he doing all of this? And it is actually bad in the sense that it should be bad from his perspective in Islam. It is not bad in Christianity at all. In Christianity starts this way, that Jesus comes and he specifically, very specifically and deliberately has or chooses disciples and apostles that he gives the message to, and they then write everything down and spread it everywhere. And people follow what they tell us about Jesus. And we believe in Jesus, who is God. It's all very, very simple. You believe in a religion that relies on people saying that, people deciding that you should follow something, based on people deciding that you should follow this, based on people deciding that Muhammad said this and this and this and did this and this and this, based on the idea that Muhammad said and did this and this and this and this. Because he received revelations in private, which nobody ever witnessed, from the Almighty Allah, which we are supposed to trust him on. What a fantastic religion by your standards, SNEAKO. What a fantastic religion.
We consider him a prophet, but he was hit with this light and this sound. Why did he write the majority of the New Testament?
He didn't write the majority of the New Testament. He wrote letters that were then considered part of the New Testament.
And then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I don't want to admit I was wrong. You get hit with ego, and then you start deflecting. People get angry, and they don't want to admit that they were wrong. I didn't have a problem with this because at the time I had already kind of strayed away from Christianity, from Catholicism.
Shut up, SNEAKO. Shut up, SNEAKO. Shut up, SNEAKO. You had no idea about any of this. You thought the Council of Nicaea was a book that is in the Bible that was removed. SNEAKO, I don't want to make fun of you. I don't want to humiliate you. Actually, I do. Because it's too easy. And I am kind of mean sometimes. You didn't even know until a year or two ago that you thought until 2 years ago that the Council of Nicaea is actually a book that was removed from the Bible. SNEAKO, you didn't know anything, SNEAKO. You didn't know any of these things. You didn't know anything about what the New Testament actually is. You were asked to quote something from the New Testament. And you were saying, what was you saying?
He was saying Matt 5 because it abbreviated it. He didn't even know it was Matthew. And he didn't know how chapters and verses work. And he goes, it's Matt 5, because that's what it said on the screen. It was Matt 5.
SNEAKO, you didn't know any of these things. Please do not pretend now. I don't want to mock you for not knowing something, but please don't pretend that you actually knew these things. It's very, very dumb. It's very stupid. Wait, do you have the clip somewhere of him talking about the book of the Council of Nicaea?
I'm sure I have it somewhere because we used it for videos back in the day. That was a couple of years ago, though. Probably look it up.
SNEAKO, Council of Nicaea. Let me see.
And Matt 5, baby. Matt 5. Oh.
Have you heard of the Council of Nicaea? There's been a lot of chapters that have been removed, and the Bible's been tampered and manipulated with a lot over the years. Well, they did remove the Council of Nicaea from the original Bible. A lot of people haven't read those parts of the Bible.
Yep.
Council of Nicaea. What are you're saying? There's a book called the Council of Nicaea?
Yeah.
There's not no book called the Council of Nicaea.
It's not a whole book, but it's. Let's see.
That was powerful, man.
SNEAKO.
SNEAKO. Yep.
SNEAKO,
Dawa guys saw him and they said, oh, what a beautiful mark here, man. This guy's really, really gullible and stupid.
This is you, SNEAKO. Nobody believes that you actually understood the Christianity and then therefore left. Nobody actually believes this, SNEAKO. You thought the Council of Nicaea is a book that has been removed from the Bible, SNEAKO. SNEAKO, don't pretend, please, SNEAKO. SNEAKO, don't.
Because it didn't make sense. And then I learned about Islam. I realized that you worship the one true creator. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I always did. I always pray to God. So I don't need to, it's not a big jump. This is just very simple to me. And then I listened.
Oh, why didn't you become a Jew? Why didn't you become a Jew? Why didn't you become a deist? Why didn't you just become a Unitarian? Why didn't you just become, I don't know, some guy who identifies as a monotheist? Why didn't you become one of the many other people who just think there is this one creator thing? Why didn't you just become a Taoist? Why didn't you become a Buddhist who said there is this one who say there is this one thing, but we can't really define it? Or another Buddhist who actually does believe in the one God who created all things. Why didn't you become any of these other things? Why did you become a Muslim, if that's the idea? Why didn't you become a Noahide? Why didn't you become any of these other things? Or why didn't you just get it together and become a Christian, SNEAKO, considering that you weren't actually a Christian before? because Christians don't believe in multiple gods, SNEAKO. And Islam isn't just about believing in one God, SNEAKO. Islam is just a very perverted, new version of having such an idea, SNEAKO.
I recommend other people too, but this idea, this tribalism and this racial identity that's pushed up.
Let's face it, he became a Muslim because Andrew Tate became a Muslim.
And you are correct, sir.
Thank you.
Everywhere, that's what holds so many people back. And people reinforcing it, they're preventing people from knowing the truth. They're preventing people from making it to heaven. They're preventing people from having pure guidance. And it's unfortunate because it's the most peace and serenity you're going to find. People all the time, they still say like, oh, you're grifting Islam. I hear this too. SNEAKO's not Muslim. He's not. It's like a LARP. It's like, dude, I've been Muslim for 3.5 years. I've been on multiple Umrahs. I go Jumu'ah every Friday. Like, I don't need to be like, no, I'm actually. But for anyone thinking that I'd be grifting Islam, how has it benefited my career at all? How has it benefited my...
Are you freaking serious, man? Is this guy serious right now? Is he really asking this question? How has it benefited me? Gosh. I don't even... Do I really have to answer that, man? Wow, man.
experience as a content creator? Can't gamble. I have to limit haram content. I am part of the most...
Which he doesn't actually do.
...hated ideology in America by far. I get called a terrorist. This is part of the reason...
Yeah, as far as we can tell, SNEAKO hasn't given up any of this stuff. It's just you can't be public about it. And he's even been public about some of this stuff multiple times. And they just say, but he's new. He's new. So he doesn't know any better. So he's good to go. What the heck are you doing, man? I'd love to talk to you guys in the chat, but I'm legitimately interested in what made him just stand up randomly and start.
My headphones were caught in my chair. It was bothering me. Finally.
You do one thing in life. You do live streams, and you still have like 5 problems every single live stream.
Yes.
And I'm banned everywhere. Get banned by the Australian government for being a neo-Nazi terrorist. They'd say everything they can to destroy my credibility.
Well, you are kind of a neo-Nazi terrorist. So.
To destroy me as a person. Being Muslim is the most hated thing you could be in this country, by far. There's nothing that's even close. They use anti-Muslim propaganda to justify war and to prop up this economy based off this Ponzi scheme petrol.
This is a dude. The reason he was, I mean, it was multiple things, but before his Australia trip, he was there with a group of people yelling the Kaibar chant.
Yeah.
That's about massacring Jews, and he's yelling it.
Yeah.
And so they banned him. And look at this. Simply being a Muslim got me banned. Oh my goodness. You imagine that? Calling for exterminating Jews got you banned, SNEAKO. Not Muslim. There are plenty of Muslims in Australia, SNEAKO.
You know what I think?
Take any random Muslim and see if he wants to take a trip to Australia and watch him not get stopped.
What I nowadays think sometimes is if people complain so much about, oh, I am being hated in this, we as a group, we're being hated in this country and we're being mistreated in this country. We are not wanted in this country. I want to use my words very carefully now. But considering that they're completely wrong and that is not being done at all, I think we should just live up to their fantasies and just, deport them, send them somewhere else. They clearly don't seem to appreciate the luxury and the comfort and the tolerance that they have, that they receive. Of course, SNEAKO wouldn't be bothered by that, considering that he's a citizen. But the rest, maybe. Or maybe he can be helped too with taking away his citizenship and sending him with them all. Why not? They clearly don't appreciate the hospitality, so kick them out.
It hasn't benefited me. It's benefited me in terms...
If I invited people into my home and hosted them and treated them so well and gave them everything, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. However, this is what I would do. If I invited people into my home and hosted them and gave them everything and treated them so well, gave them exactly what I get, treated them like they own the house, but in the end, they still kept insulting me and complaining that they're being mistreated by me, and they tried to contest the ownership of it, I would say, pack your bags Pack your bags, leave, and do not ever come back. If you're not out by the end of the day, I will forcibly remove you. That's how I would act. And I would probably do the same if I was in charge of a country. So,
In terms of peace, it's given me guidance. It's given me the straight path. I know what I'm supposed to do. Instead of straying away and worshiping others than God, now I know what makes sense of what I'm supposed to do. I have the clear rule book. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do as a person. And also I get all the benefits in the afterlife. This life is temporary. This life is a test. Everything in this life is a
you get to bang virgins. Bang them virgins. Banging all them virgins in the afterlife. Banging all them beautiful virgins with big breasts. Banging all them virgins with the transparent skin.
They don't have big breasts.
Banging all
They
them
don't have big
virgins.
breasts. They have budding breasts. Budding.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that's budding breasts. They're at Tanner stage 2.
Cool. Zutkuya says, "Make AP the dictator of the UK." I agree with this completely. I think this needs to be done. Yeah, this needs to be done immediately. I will talk to the royal family and I will say, "Hey, give me control of this country and ownership over this country for 5 years. I will solve all of the problems, and I promise I will give it back to you."
Yep. As long
Yes.
as you promise to give power back and not
Yeah.
to wipe out anyone who challenges you after 5 years, then you're good. Just
I mean,
make
after
that
5
promise.
years, I promise that I will give control of the country back, unless extreme circumstances demand otherwise.
is a test. You know what you're supposed to do. But in terms of dunya, in terms of rewards, power, money, fame, I haven't gained any of that being Muslim. Any. In fact, I just came back from Australia. I did 2 Muslim podcasts, 2 Dawah podcasts. They were afraid to upload them because I got banned by the Australian government. So even in the Muslim world where there'd be clout that people act like I'm grifting, I'm still facing tons of hardship. There's been no benefit.
AP, wasn't he
no-
getting banned for stuff before he was a Muslim? Like when he would say to a feminist that they need to be raped and stuff, and that's what actually got him kicked off YouTube.
Yeah, he
So-
was banned permanently from YouTube because he said that this girl who was criticizing him just needs to be brutally raped.
And so that got him kicked off of YouTube. He's been begging for his YouTube channel back, so now he's under a fake one. That's not officially him, but it's obviously him. But I mean, think about this. It's, oh, look, what has converting to Islam done for me? I keep, doing stuff like talking about massacring Jews and stuff, and it's causing me problems. Whereas before I didn't have these you were getting kicked off social media long before that, dude.
Well, it is actually his channel. He got it back. For some reason, YouTube decided to unban him.
Oh,
years later.
wait, why is it called SNEAKO then?
No, it is SNEAKO. He also posts on SNEAKO.
Oh, there's a
This here is-
SNEAKO. Oh, okay. No, I didn't even know he got his channel back.
Oh, this here is SNEAKO, but he also has
That's
SNEAKO.
SNEAKO. Okay.
He also has SNEAKO, which has over 1 million subscribers.
So hang on. So he
Wait. After becoming Muslim, he got his YouTube channel back, actually.
yeah, so they gave you your channel back after you threatened to brutally rape someone
Yeah.
and were banned for it. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you poor persecuted guy.
Poor persecuted.
dunya benefit, but all the benefit in the afterlife and all the
Why is he saying dunya? Dunya means world. Dunya refers to worldly things. It just means world. Why can't he just say worldly? I thought Islam doesn't care about following a nation or skin color or whatever it is. Why is he speaking Arabic out of nowhere?
clarity that I need, all the mental benefit, the peace, and also what's most important is the connection to God. Is that prayer? Before that, you don't have it. These other people, I really feel bad because they don't know what it's like to have that serenity, to have that calmness, to have truth, to connect with the Creator, to put your head to the floor on this carpet 5 times a day. They don't know what it's like
What's
to pray.
up, big dog? I am a recent revert. When do I get a 6-year-old wife?
Guys still seething.
How does that stuff just randomly pop up while he's how does this even work? Oh, it automatically jumps in with the super chats? because that's a super chat. What's up,
Yes.
big dog? I'm a recent revert. When do I get a 6-year-old wife? What's up, big dog?
Oh my god.
It's funny that he says I'm a recent revert.
It's funny in the middle of the ranting. His super chat is being read out loud. But they have, so streamers have this system. I think they do it through OBS, where people can, through their own websites and channels, can send them super chats that are being read out loud because they are part of the members or something like that. I don't know. I don't exactly know how it works. I've never really gotten into that.
Wouldn't that be annoying if they can just interrupt you mid-sentence like that with when do I get a 6-year-old wife? Because I'd be willing to kick out some cash.
I mean,
It's a mess
SNEAKO and
with
people
people.
like him. Streamers do this kind of stuff because it makes for good engagement, you know. So, I mean, he could turn this stuff off, but he just does it because it's good engagement. But I love it. Wait a minute, I want to watch it again.
That serenity, to have that calmness, to have truth, to connect with the Creator, to put your head to the floor on this carpet 5 times a day. They don't know what it's like
What's
to pray.
up, big dog? I am a recent revert. When do I get a 6-year-old wife?
I still see them. They don't know what it's like to put your head to the floor and
Hey, answer the question, man. How you not gonna answer the man's question? What's wrong with this dude, man?
Oh my gosh, that was pretty good.
pray the 2 rakat sunnah before you pray Fajr prayer and get a reward the size of Mount Uhud. What it's like to have.
Yeah, nobody knows how it is to pray so many rakat before this and do that and then get a reward that is as big as this one thing, this one mountain in Arabia that nobody has heard of except if you are a Muslim. What a nice system. People just don't know. People just don't know, man. Unless you're a Muslim, you just don't know how good it feels to finally connect to Allah, the God who demands you to pray and brutally punishes you if you do not pray, and then gives you rewards if you do pray and says, good boy, good boy, good boy, you prayed today, good boy, you're going to get rewards. You're going to get treats. Good boy. Make sure you pray again tomorrow. Otherwise, I will burn you and skin you alive in hell. What a beautiful religion, man. What a beautiful, beautiful religion. Where you just so badly want to connect to Allah and pray to Him so He doesn't brutally punish you. What a beautiful religion.
That, you know what it's like when you're consistently praying 5 times a day and you have that peace and you have that strength and you have that guidance. You know what Noor is? This is, people see it on my face. Like when I'm consistent in my prayers and I'm doing.
Oh my goodness. Now he's stealing this from Sadiq Abdul Malik. That's that light. Your face is just glowing. He's saying people see it on my face. Noor.
Dude, this is the kind of stuff that Muslims say in Muslim cultures, and it always sounded retarded to me whenever I heard it. When I was a devout Muslim myself, when I was growing up, later on in life, I was like, "Oh, please stop saying that dumb stuff, man." Well, I can see the Noor in your face. Like you can't see anything; you just see what you want to see. And this guy actually buys into it because he buys into the culture. This is so dumb, man. Anyway, David, do you want to continue? I'm just going to get something to drink. I'm drying out here.
No. You're supposed to. What is this? How many interruptions has
Take the
this?
opportunity to say a prayer. Come on.
I'll take the opportunity to talk trash about the guy who set up this live stream, who didn't even send me the link appropriately. I couldn't even find it until I did find it later. So he makes us late. Then he gets his headphones cord all tied up in the wheels of his chair like an amateur. Now he realized, oh, I didn't even bother to bring a frosty beverage, which would kind of be live streaming 101. Live streaming 101, bring a frosty beverage. And what does he do? Oh, let me go. I have to go find a drink in the middle of this show. He's kind of dumber than SNEAKO. You don't see SNEAKO having this problem right now, do you? We're sitting here making fun of SNEAKO, and you've got this guy. Oh my goodness, what is this? Let me check some super chats. Can someone make a Lego Al-Zutzin? Oh, we already saw that. Hey. I would like to I don't think I'd have the patience to really do the Lego stop motion animation and stuff like that, but someone should. Then we have the classic duo. God bless you guys. Thank you. Turn on the stream, Shirk Turk. Here we got that. Then we got Book of Nicaea, chapter 2, verse 123. Islam is logical.
You see?
It's chapter -2, verse 123.
You see, this is the proof.
Yes, it is.
We all know SNEAKO doesn't read. I'm going to read the book of the Council of Nicaea now, says Archer 170. Tell us what it says. I'm really curious. Cult Wraith. Whoa, AP is really sticking it to the Calvinists. Jim Burns Jr. Islam is profane disrespect for the actual nature of God's craftsmanship. The nature of mortality, death, exists solely to prevent leaders from permanently misleading an error. Tell everyone to Amazon a book titled A Conversation with Superintelligence by Jim Duane Burns Jr. It is a short 57-page book that will deliver the light of all lights. Is it your book? The original light of God.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's him advertising his book. His channel is Jim Burns Jr., but then he says, hey, this is a book by Jim Duane Burns Jr. It is a short 57-page book that will deliver the light of all lights, the original light of God.
Hey, dude, I want to say quickly, I've recently encountered this channel. I think everyone should subscribe to it. It's called Apostate Prophet. Apostate Prophet. If you search on YouTube, Apostate Prophet, everyone should go there, subscribe.
You say there's a channel. There's a channel, you say?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah. It's very, very good. Everyone should.
Do you vouch for this person's channel?
I do. 100%. And also, if you're watching the live streams of this channel, you should be liking the live streams. Like it. GV says, Allah sounds retarded and wasteful. That's terrible. It's very, very mean to Allah. A wise man, whoever thinks SNEAKO's conversion to Islam is genuine is a moron. He's an anti-Semite. He looked into large communities which openly hate Jews under the guise of a religion. Continued in replies. Stephen White says, go to where you would give the video a thumbs up. At the bottom right under comments, you will find the video I posted. Is that SNEAKO? That's a very good question. Sam Shimun's Hungry Cat says, Allah, what image should I create Adam? I know. I'll create Adam in the image of Adam. Oh Allah, you Einstein, you. Cult Wraith says, don't knock fermented cat urine till you try it. Speedrunner says, weird how Uthman get as much hate from Muslims as compared to Aisha and Ali. He destroyed 6/7 of the Quran. The guy is worse than David Wood.
He destroyed a lot of Qurans.
Michael James, 8410. When Kent Ace calls Jews Baal worshippers, is she implicating Christians of worshipping Baal also? Yes, she's just too stupid to understand that. Land Before Time, 9-3. David Wood, you sat like a dog with Andrew. Sit, boy. Good boy.
Now we've got Jay Dyer retiring for debate that I said I'm preparing for.
Huh. Lozire says, every time I hear ex-Christians talk about why they left, they all present arguments that would be answered if they, at least once in their life, just read the Bible. Arguments that are so basic, it shows their lukewarmness. Exactly. I mean, I can at least say for myself that I read the Quran multiple times before I left Islam. But this guy didn't even know what mat is. Leroy, why the heck is even SNEAKO famous? What are his accolades? What did he achieve? What did his father achieve? What has your daddy done? What's Mr. SNEAKO done? Mike Rochwinger says, we're learning why SNEAKO became a Muslimo, but when will we learn why Mike Winger became a nerd? You will never learn. You must be a nerd yourself. Land Before Time says, Paul was possessed. You're too smart to be this dumb. Well, you are retarded, and here I banned. Speedrunner
Hey,
says,
hey, it is interesting. That's the same guy who just said, D Wood, you sat like a dog with Andrew. Now it's Paul was possessed. Isn't that interesting?
well, he isn't banned now, so.
No, isn't that interesting though? So who you got here? You got Muslims over here cheering for the Orthobros? Isn't that weird?
That's interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
I wouldn't necessarily call Andrew Wilson an orthobro, despite our differences and despite your differences with him. But still.
I just find that very interesting, man.
Very, very interesting. Why does this guy talk nonsense refutable by Sunday school kids? There should be other Dawa guys calling him a moron, but they won't. GV, in a seriousness, we should pray from AP and David, you mean 4, and their families,
Yeah, don't
even
pray
though
from
they're
us.
running from the root floor debate, You're running, boy, This is true. Lothar says, one should think if Paul really did corrupt the early church, that Muhammad would have pointed that out if he was an actual prophet.
Would have
Isn't
been
that
good to point out, right?
Yeah, but they never say anything about it at all. On the contrary, the Quran praises the early followers of Jesus and says they will be made superior until the day of judgment. Phil F716 says, SNEAKO, a retired Bakhabazi, he aged out. It's very, very rude. Ada Baby Dean, SNEAKO only became Muslim for the anti-Semitism. Nope, he became Muslim because of Andrew Tate became a Muslim. Land Before Time, IP admitted today the Quran only confirms some of your scripture. By logical default, dismiss the dilemma. Idiot apologists, you guys end up being. Oh, this is the guy that I banned, right? Wait, let me ban him.
Yeah. And notice, dude, definitely a Muslim, and yet over here rooting for your boy Andrew Wilson. Isn't that interesting? Hey, but guys, I would grant that. Saying IP granted that the Quran is only affirming some things. Yeah, if you want, I mean, you could make an argument that it's confirming all of it, calls us people of the book and so on. And Muslims basically make this case historically and even today when the Quran says that the Torah and the gospel contain prophecies about Muhammad. Muslims will go to Isaiah, they'll go to Daniel, they'll go to Song of Solomon. So they're not limiting Torah to just the 5 books of Moses. And so you could argue that, okay, well, why would the gospel be limited to even the 4 gospels, right? It's broader. It's something broader. So you can make the case. What we would say is, okay, if we just go with what it is clearly and indisputably affirming, it's at least affirming the Torah that Jews have and the gospel that Christians have. So nope, you don't need to say, oh yeah, definitely the book of Revelations or definitely letters of Paul or something like that, but definitely the Torah and the gospel. So I don't know why they'd consider that a win. I've been pointing that out for years.
Yeah, I don't know why I read that comment, considering that I banned this guy already. But yeah, you are now banned, and I shall no longer read your super chats.
I'm a former.
I mean, I was thinking of letting you continue because you're making all these super chats and thereby supporting the channel, but I cannot tolerate what you just said earlier. So,
Andrew Wilson's Dawa fans do love to support the channel.
GV, God bless everyone and have a great night. YouTube is buffing really bad. I've tried reloading and no help. I'll have to listen after the live stream. That's terrible to know. Jack Ray, 487 billion. The return of 487. Ah, you see? Nice. SNEAKO, the ultimate
Glad Jack Ray remembers.
Jack Ray also gifted 20 Apostate Prophet memberships. Thank you for imprisoning 20 people into the cult that I'm building, out of which there will be no escape once I'm done. Stations and dissolutions. Muslims parrot Dawa talking points like Operation Mockingbird, and SNEAKO was led like a lost child to Islam for clout and networking opportunities and strong arm guidance and a reaction to culture wars. That is a lot of, but yes, that's basically what they do. Hey, AP, if you still want to make a new account for interviews, you should name it Patristic Prophet Uncut, for PP Uncut for short. What's wrong with you? Thank you for the brilliant idea, Space Cadet FM.
It would be a funny channel name, man.
It's Orthodox terminology, patristic and uncut. So that combined with those words makes it funny. You guys should stream with Diddy when he's out. We will. Diddy is a good friend of mine, so we'll definitely do that. David Texel, you guys should react to Jonathan Pajot's second earliest video and Gavin Oatland's response regarding salvation outside the Eastern Orthodox Church. Or is that arc over? It's not over at all, actually.
You got Jay Dyer trying to destroy the ark, but he will not succeed.
Well, Jay Dyer is gay. So
we will not stop until we have identified the one and only true church, and all other heretics from other places are all burned.
Jay Dyer is gay. We're supposed to have a conversation with Jonathan, actually, soon. We need to finalize that, inshallah. But we could also review stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's trillions of videos out there. People can join us live, or we can watch their videos.
You see. Matt 5, okay, perfect. Deport, go away, Momo. Says Station Center Solutions. This is very, very rude. I love it. Speedrunner. Nordine would love that super chat.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
Gosh,
that would be why I would never be able to use that. Nordine would be interrupting every 2 seconds. What about demons? What about demons? What about Yajuj and Majuj?
Sam Tunasa, I have a art orb in my suit. Help me. Scorpion. David, I know the stream has a topic, but why aren't you talking about pink 3-legged communist space aliens? Are they mind controlling you?
Yes.
There you go. Cult Wraith. Revelation is the one book we have given to Jesus by God. Muslims should love it. That's why they think the Injil is. That's what they think the Injil is. What do you say about this, David?
Okay.
Wait a minute. I just found a video that is a Russian translation.
Of what?
Russian
of what?
Of my speech as speaker's corner. Hang on.
Должны осознать, и думаю, они...
Hey, look at this.
Осознают, что ислам уже очень-очень давно является тьмой. Ислам — это тьма, которая
I can still hear you, man.
вокруг тебя.
It would have been funny if they because you can use AI to actually make it look like you're saying it and stuff nowadays. That'd have been even funnier, but that's pretty cool. Zing lang zing zling zlov zhivok zing black zing lang say the say das vidanya.
Glory to Christ, our Lord and Savior. A smart man, well done. He described Islam accurately. That's interesting.
Way out there talking trash about Islam, man.
There's a Russian channel.
You just cross an ocean to go talk trash.
Yeah. That's very, very interesting. Likimathigayon, Islam is doubtlessly peaceful and fleeceful in equal measure. It is indeed. Indeed. All right, let's continue with this.
Light will emit
Nozdrovia.
from my face that doesn't show elsewhere. A sense of clarity, of truth, of purpose. That's something that nobody else has in the world. And that's
okay.
SNEAKO,
for someone to babble about truth and light and all this stuff while having just spent the past 10 minutes spouting the most insanely idiotic nonsense we've ever seen, that kind of shows what Islam really is. It takes clueless dopes and convinces them that spouting the dumbest nonsense anyone's ever heard makes you Allah's golden boy.
David, I can see this glow on your face. What is that all about?
It's Noor.
Oh,
it's the Noor.
Oh, we see. This is the proof. Christianity is truth.
Fortunate. I feel bad for those people. And I would wish that they're guided, but you see it, you can even hear it right now in the TTS. They will come up with any excuse to stay on their falsehood. And they keep saying like, oh, you're a Muslim grifter, you're a Muslim grifter.
You know what's funny? What happens when people convert to Islam, they become apologists for pedophilia, rape, and slavery. When people become Christians, they become selfless people who like to help others and who actually, want to defend truth. It's a very, very interesting observation to have.
But AP, once you start defending Islam and you start defending child marriage and banging little kids, all of a sudden your face lights up because you're a pervert and you get really happy that now you can promote banging kids and your face is lit up, and we call that nur. That's when Allah lights up your face with joy because you know you'll get to bang little kids.
You see, this is the nur.
This is the nur.
The nur.
Nur.
I'm exploding.
Look at the nur.
Nordine.
One of my favorite surahs I just memorized, Surah Kafirun. Kuya ayyuhal kafirun, la abudu mutabidun, wala antum abiduna ma'abud, wala ana abitum ma'abitum, wala antum abiduna ma'abud, lakum dinukum waliyadin. This means you
Lakum dinukum waliyadin. That's how. Wait.
wala antum abiduna ma'abud, lakum dinukum waliyadin.
Oh, he got it right.
Yeah,
The
but
first thing I'm impressed with SNEAKO.
But he was talking about, this not being, not being an Arab thing and so on. Why is he memorizing stuff in Arabic?
Yeah, why don't you just memorize it in English,
Why don't you
SNEAKO?
just memorize it in English, man?
I thought Islam doesn't care about your skin color and your
Yeah, it doesn't care about that at all.
language and your nation and stuff like that. Why don't you memorize it in English, SNEAKO? Or are you going to make the argument? No, you can't preserve the real meaning in English. Oh, you see, SNEAKO, why can't you have the Quran in Arabic to preserve the original meaning, but still memorize it in English, SNEAKO? Why is Islam functionally retarded, SNEAKO? Why is Islam retarded, SNEAKO? Why is Islam unaware of this thing called translation, SNEAKO? SNEAKO, why is Allah retarded?
This means you worship what you worship, I'm going to worship what I worship. You do what you do, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Here's the translation of Surah Kafirun.
Yeah, I'm gonna worship what I
go.
worship. You gonna worship what you worship, man. Come on.
No, I like this. I like this because the Quran says in Surah 2, verse 23, that if you don't believe this is from God, then produce a chapter like it. So the claim is that every chapter of the Quran is so just absolutely amazing that a human being could not have written it and cannot write something like it. So he's about to give us the translation of this chapter of the Quran. It's very short, but let's listen to let's listen to the translation and think, is this so mind-bogglingly powerful that a human being would be incapable of writing this?
And this is what I say to these people. It's a beautiful surah. One of my favorites.
You have made me a born Muslim who was straying a better Muslim. No grift at all.
Thank you. But that's all they have is just these that's all they have, because this is why I have faced so much betrayal in the red pill space. You guys have seen it over the years if you've been watching my stream. These red pill people either worship money. Look at Tatism. You need to seek wealth in this.
Apostle Paul don't prove that Christianity is false. The hadiths weren't written by Muhammad.
Okay, but there's also debate about this, about hadith, and you follow Quran Sunnah. Quran is the most important. It's written by Allah. I did not just talk about Paul, also just the simple fact that you worship the one true creator. If you don't want to believe the Paul thing, that's fine.
Notice how the question was, why are you a Muslim?
Yeah, dude, just believing in one creator, that would be called monotheism. That is not Islam. Islam is a package deal. Islam says that the only way you can actually follow the one God is by mindlessly obeying everything said or done by an illiterate 7th century Arabian caravan robber who banged a 9-year-old girl. Okay. Don't act like, oh, so if I reject Paul, I'm just a monotheist and therefore Islam. Islam is a package deal. It comes with a big package. Not like the big packages Muhammad got, but
What's wrong with you?
I thought about it for like 10 seconds whether I should go, and then I just did it.
But Surah Kafirun. And thank you. Yeah, again, about the red pill. And this goes into Surah Kafirun. The reason that I face so much betrayal is the same reason you see these people seethe in the chat.
Wait, what?
Thank you. But Surah Kafrun. And thank you. Yeah, like, but yeah,
I love this.
And this goes into Surah Kafrun.
Come on, say it, dude. Say it. Say it. Say it, and then say a human being could not write something like this. It's too amazing and powerful.
The reason that I face so much betrayal is the same reason you see these people seethe in the chat. That's the only pattern here. This is why people whose careers I've made, you know all of them, people that I've put on by their own.
What is he even talking about at this point?
He's talking about why he's a Muslim. That's the video. This is all why he's a Muslim. So it's Paul. And now people in the red pill community stabbing him in the back.
People that I've helped, given money, defended, all this. You want to know the reason they turned on me is because they worship others than God. They worship money, fame, themselves, their skin. This is what the red pill promotes. Yes, it talks about how gays are evil and feminism is bad and stuff.
Islam gives you an inner peace that nothing else can make you ready to die at any moment.
Exactly.
Islam gives you inner peace that nothing else can make you ready to die at any moment.
Yeah, powerful. Oh, wow. It also makes you barely literate. Makes you semi-literate somehow. Well, I have to say, compared to, Salim here, compared to his prophet, is basically William Shakespeare.
They mix the truth with falsehood. Yes, feminism is wrong, but also you shouldn't worship your skin color. Yes, being gay is incorrect, but you don't need to go and become a man who puts his will.
SNEAKO says you shouldn't become a man. I confirm.
Inserts his will in the world. You don't need to do that.
I just thought about something very bad that normally you would think of, so I don't want to say it. Let's just continue.
I only think of good things.
Turned on me because Islam is the truth and it destroys their religion. Tateism, skin worship, red pill,
Tateism,
networking.
Tateism?
Tateism. Tate is a Muslim. And the reason SNEAKO converted. I want to be like Tate. And now, Tate, I am attacking Tate. Why is everyone attacking me now? Dude.
And the Prophet Muhammad, he was surrounded by those who wanted to insert their will into him.
You couldn't resist, could you?
I was thinking
30 men inserted their will into him. Then he had the wills of 30 men.
They can't keep believing in their nonsense while somebody else in the space is telling the truth. That you don't worship any of this. You worship God. Not your rented car, not your botted Instagram followers, not your skin, and not your bank account. It's all fraudulent. Worship God and God alone. That's why they get so angry.
Therefore, you need to become a submitter to Muhammad's will. Logically, obviously.
That's the only reason. And you notice every time they turn their backs, when they backstab me and say the same things that they all say, it's always, it sounds.
What is this stuff, man? I remember talking like this when I was in high school. Not even in high school.
This is beyond stupid, man.
When I was like in 7th or 6th, 5th grade. I remember the girls talking about stuff like this when I was in 5th grade. You're talking behind my back. You're backstabbing me.
You're backstabbing me. And then it's SNEAKO, this is the real reason a lot of people become Muslim. I mean, let's say one of the reasons, this is a powerful force at work in people's minds. Mentioned this many times, but Chris Rock had his comedy show. He's talking about how we have a culture that's addicted to attention, and there are only a few broad categories of ways to get attention, but one of them is being a victim. But people like that victim card because then anytime someone attacks you, you say, oh, it's because I'm this, and not just because of all kinds of other reasons, and you're a scumbag and all kinds of things. But you see SNEAKO doing it here. Why do people turn their back on me? Why do people change their mind about me? Why do people not like? It's because I'm such a devout Muslim, and it's driving them crazy. That's why they don't like me. Come on, dude.
Why are they backstabbing me?
I'm a victim here. I'm a victim. Everyone's backstabbing me because I'm just because I say there's only one God worthy of worship.
They want to go behind me like I'm Muhammad on the night of Al-Zut, but I'm not.
Exactly the same. It's the seething that I have exposed their falsehood. And they can't admit it. Their egos are very big, especially in the content creator space. They can't admit they were wrong.
Who has SNEAKO exposed? Like,
Then-
who's like, oh no, SNEAKO exposed me with his powerful dawah.
There are 30 of them, and their egos are very big, and they get behind my back.
Yeah, and they insert their egos.
And they insert their will. What's wrong with you, man? You're sick.
About us is like, has he made any piece of content? Name one thing he's ever said, bro. Right? Go. Tank, that guy who AB said his breath stinks. Like, I shouldn't even be speaking about it anymore. Like, nobody watches this stuff. He's just like a soundboard for Myron. But I'm making this analogy to point out something. Like, name something he's ever said. Go.
What is he talking about at this point, man? Jack Ray, is it Allah lighting up Muslims' faces with Nur or Al Zut and something else? It is Al Zut and AI Zut. Ligibethigayon says, SNEAKO's recitation of that sheep lusting gibberish has made me yearn to join this
Sheep lusting gibberish.
Aussie Ape says, don't mock Nordine, it proves you have a demon.
That is true. I just asked Nordine.
Nordine. Goken, did the Zut leave Nur, however it's spelled, on Muhammad's face? Alhamdulillah. That's very, very messed up.
Muhammad was glowing that night.
I can't believe you would type something like this on this channel. Shame on you. The Mule 52 question: why are you a Muslim? SNEAKO's response: because Taco Bell doesn't sell the double decker Supreme anymore, and Coca-Cola doesn't have Dr. Pepper.
That's a good point.
Randy Bales gifted a membership. Thank you so much, and thank you for imprisoning one more person into this cult.
Pastor Randy Bales.
It's true.
One point he's made. There's nothing.
What is he talking about?
Since he asked me to do a fight, this idiot, like, dude, he asked me to fight. I said yes, and he ran away scared because he knows he would get destroyed. I would beat him up easily. And that was very dumb of him to ask me for a fight. I accepted because he looks like a little B-word in the answer. Nick was out and says, like, green light on site. What is it? Now you stupid. I'm stupid. I'm saying you're disrespectful. That makes you look dumb. And you don't have the ability to go mad. Also, you're listening, obsessed, desperate, and it's pathetic. Then you do this. You do this. You don't have to do it. You're harassing. You do it. You're so mad. You don't take my time to do a fight. And do it. You get destroyed. You know it. You just that. And they know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. Because that's what's happening in your life. Then he can't answer when the number 9 texts us. As a global, they know they're wrong. They can't do it. So you shut down. And that's this whole talking forever. You don't know the numerology guys are big for you. You're the numerology for a year. And stops because they're bigger. And he stops. He literally for years. Yeah, it's how many it's next. Oh, that's interesting. That's that. And then he's talking about making the image being found in the Now he's talking about lying for. That's just lazy. It's bullshit. Instead of being wrong, all you do is continue. That's it. And so you're saying talking for. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm trying to show you how to here. They go wrong down. They can't. So continue to try to justify more. So it's confident. Also says
Oh, hey, he's back. He's back to the Surah, man.
Now he's getting back finally.
Dude, when someone's like, hey, you guys should react to SNEAKO's new video on why he became Muslim, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe he's actually gonna, he's had longer to think about it now, and he's gonna reflect on what it was, and it's like this complete idiotic, nonsensical gibberish.
After this, if anybody ever sends me ever again a request of please react to this video, I'll say no.
I'm gonna say no, guys. We don't trust you guys anymore because you're sending us complete nonsense.
I don't trust you.
Say, oh, prophet, oh, you disbelievers. I do not worship what you worship, nor do you worship what I worship. I will never worship what you worship.
Whoa!
What?
No
Hang on.
one
Let him
will ever
worship.
Whoa!
What I worship. You have your way, and I have my way.
Whoa!
Guys, you hear that? That's an entire chapter of the Quran. The claim of the Quran is that no one can write something like this.
Whoa!
No one can write something like this. Say, AP, I like sandwiches, but you do not like sandwiches. But I really like sandwiches, but you do not like sandwiches. But I do like sandwiches, but you don't like sandwiches. Okay, you like what you like, and I like what I like. Oh my goodness, this must be from God. It's so powerful.
Whoa! Whoa, man. Boom. That was brutal, man. That was brutal. That was brutal, David. That was brutal. I will call you Allah from now on. That was brutal, man. Wow. Oh, you who watch this channel, become a member. Always remember, even if you have a smaller member, if you do not want to become a member, you should become a member. Your membership to you, my membership to me.
And if you don't like it, you will be dismembered. I have to say, that's better than what Allah came up with, man.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway,
Worship what you want to worship. This is why the surah is so powerful, because the Muslims who are on deen, who pray, we know how powerful prayer is. Every Muslim will tell you the clarity you get,
Yes.
the routine, consistency.
We
peace,
pray for
serenity.
victory over the Jews, and you see how we're destroying them. Whenever I get on my knees and bow down and stretch out my butt, and then ask Allah for forgiveness and for the destruction of the Christians and Jews, I feel so much at peace. Allahu Akbar. It makes me want to blow up and bang virgins. Allahu Akbar. It's so beautiful.
The straight path you get from 5 daily prayers. It's unlike anything else in the world. It's better than anything. Having that connection to Allah is better than anything.
Dude, he's not actually saying anything at this point. He just keep saying the same stupid thing over and over again.
listen, to be very, very serious for a second here, although I'm always serious, I was a Muslim myself.
Were you?
At some point, I was extremely devout. And I will tell you that at some point, I felt very, very much at peace. I felt that I was. This is the funny thing. I felt that I was in complete and full obedience. And being in complete obedience to Allah made me happy and brought me peace. Although I was also constantly in anxiety about not being able to properly be obedient to Allah, about missing my prayers, about missing my obligations. I was constantly chasing after trying to obey Allah and His commands properly, lest I be punished brutally. But I was following and I was obeying, and it felt good. I felt really, really good. There was a point when I was so happy, I would go about my day. It felt like I was drunk with happiness, with satisfaction, because I was fulfilling my obligations and doing my prayers all the time. And I would pray, and I would pray that Allah never takes this away from me and always keeps me on this straight path and always keeps me praying and always keeps me obeying. That's all I wanted. It felt good. It felt happy. In that state, I can sympathize with somebody who is in that state. I can sympathize with a Muslim who is in that state and who actually thinks, wow, this is the best thing ever. This is the best thing ever, man. This is beautiful. Nothing can beat this. Nothing else out there in the world can beat this. I felt that way too. But it was also really, really messed up. It was also really, really sick. Because while I was feeling that pleasure, as I just said, I was also constantly in anxiety about continuing this. I was terrified of not being able to continue it. I was terrified that I couldn't fulfill my prayers, my obligations properly. I was terrified that Allah would punish me brutally if I go astray, if I don't fulfill my obligations properly. I was terrified that Allah is going to burn me brutally and torture me for doing wrong things. I was terrified that Allah will take this away from me. I was hoping that Allah would keep me on that He would keep me praying. So yes, it felt peaceful to be obedient, but I was also constantly terrified of this tyrant that Allah is. And that is what Islam does to you. It brainwashes you to become a loving, submissive slave that is in a brutally abusive relationship, the most brutally abusive relationship that you can possibly think of. And this brutally abusive relationship, which you submit yourself to, when you submit to Allah, also turns you into abusive people. This is why Muslims become such abusive people, because they are in an abusive relationship with Allah, who tortures them, who threatens them, who abuses them mentally and in the afterlife physically, brutally. It turns them into abusers as well. It turns them into brutal people as well. There is nothing loving about it. There is nothing good about it. There is nothing fulfilling about it. And what are you promised? You are made to worship. You are made to worship Allah If you do not worship Allah properly, you will be burned, you will suffer, you will be tortured. There will be no end to your suffering. Even if you die as a Muslim, you will probably go through years, decades, hundreds of years of suffering before you may enter heaven. That is basically the relationship. That is the relationship. That is what it is. That is what Islam is all about. It is Muhammad's sick system. Muhammad's very, very sick system that he created in his head in the 7th century. This sick, messed up, abusive man created this system in his head that he called Islam. That is what Islam is. Islam is submission to that absolutely sick and messed up fake creator, Allah, who is completely based on 7th century insanity. And it has no connection at all, in truth, to the Bible, to the God of the Bible, to what Christianity teaches, to what Jesus told us, to what the prophets have spoken, to what the prophets have said. No connection to any of this at all. No connection to the loving God who loves you. No connection to the loving God who creates you in beauty in his own image. No connection to the loving God who wants you to believe in him and who gives you life. No connection to that at all. This God is a product of 7th century insanity who creates a world of torture where he creates beings just to torture them for fun and games. That's it. Any kind of satisfaction or peace that you feel worshipping that sick, insane thing is just another insanity. There's nothing good about it. Free yourself from that delusion. Free yourself from the sickness. Free yourself from the stupidity. Free yourself from the abuse. Free yourself from lies, from 7th century nonsense. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an abused victim who is happy with his tyrant God, with his abuser. Don't buy into the pedophile rapist Muhammad who forcibly converted people. Open your mind to something real. Leave Islam behind. It is stupidity. It makes people stupid. Don't be dumb. Don't be a Muslim. Thank you. David, what's up, man?
What's up?
Anyway, Ligamathigyon says he sounds smarter somehow when you speed him up. This is true.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that too.
Remember to pray for PayPal. What? What's happening? What is this joke about? I don't get it.
That's a Sam Shamoon joke. He keeps saying, and pray for PayPal, pray for PayPal. He means for him on PayPal.
What? SRB. SRB. SNEAKO, worship what you want to worship me. Okay, I'll worship Jesus. SNEAKO, no, not like that. Aussie Abe, the more you speed him up, the more he makes sense. This is true. HCRO, SNEAKO not giving a reason for becoming a Muslim only strengthens my iman. You see.
That's certainty. And so these other people, we see them dance around and try to cope with whatever they come up with, and you're just like, you feel bad for them, wallahi. Because you know.
Wallahi, Islam doesn't care about your ethnicity and your culture and language. Wallahi, Habibi.
No, I mean, think about this. So far, I mean, you're like 2/3 of the way through this video that he puts on his channel about why he's a Muslim. And it was Attack Paul, has nothing to do with Islam being true. And then, hey, I memorized this chapter, which is one of the chapters I quote when I show how stupid the Quran's claim is that no one can write something like it. And other than that, it's, yeah, I feel this, I feel that, I feel this, I feel that. Everyone stabs me in the back because of this and that. Have we seen one thing that would give us the slightest indication that Islam is true?
No.
No.
I look at the transcript here. He continues talking about the void, The gaping hole.
Uh-oh. And the gaping hole on the night of Al-Zut. How does anyone explain that? That's a miracle. How could one guy do that in one night? This is the proof. This is what persuaded me that Islam is true, everyone. That giant gaping hole. That gaping hole that people said no one could fill, but Muhammad filled it. He filled it with 30 men.
He talks about filling up that gaping hole. He talks about being misguided, the straight path. He talks about the one thing, I make my Dua Lipa. Hey, I'm really horny. I don't know what to do. Wait, what? And then the more you stray away, you are focused on what you should be doing. Dude, there is nothing in here, man.
You know what a lot of kuffar say? I'm never going to become
What
Muslim.
does Islam teach about eschatology?
It's very similar to Christian eschatology.
No, it's not.
About the end times, it's very similar. There's some differences. Well, I can get into that later. When I see people say,
For example, it teaches that Jesus will come back as a jihadist ruler and will kill the pigs and fight the Christians.
we know how misguided you are if you're living in the state of Jahiliyyah. These people that are
Is Jahiliyyah, dude. Why are you trying to speak Arabic?
it was filth. The Arabs at the time were some of the most disgusting pagan things that were like Hindus. They were doing filthy, just disgusting, marrying each other's aunts. There was incest. They were killing each other.
Right.
It was,
Muhammad married
it
his
was
cousin.
filth. The Arabs at the time were some of the most disgusting people in the world.
Marrying each other's aunts?
Muhammad married his first cousin.
What is really wrong with marrying each other's aunts? When you just marry your cousin.
Each other. It was filth. The Arabs at the time were some of the most disgusting.
The Arabs! He's even saying Arab like an Arab.
Maybe you just don't deserve it. You have perhaps just not earned this, the best in the world. So if you want to stay on that, but fine, go ahead. But don't think
Maybe you just don't deserve Islam because you're too stupid.
they act like it's something they're gonna join rather than it being the best thing. And this actually started with the final prophet. So there are many prophets.
Wait, hang on. This is funny.
Nasir. Not to get on this whole religion yap. Someone asked about eschatology, but we believe that the end of times actually started with the final prophet. So there are many prophets, hundreds and hundreds. I think there were many prophets that we all know of, like Moses, Abraham, Jesus. But there in total, there are 124,000 prophets sent to all different nations all over the world. Everybody.
Cool. Just quick question, SNEAKO. Can you name any of the 124,000 prophets except for prophets that are part of the typical biblical, Israelite pre or post Israelite lineage or of the Arab culture? Can you name any of the other prophets?
Yeah, who is the prophet to Japan?
Can you name any other prophets except for prophets of the Israelites and prophets from the Arab environment of the time? Can you name any other prophet, SNEAKO? Any other prophet? Why is it, SNEAKO, that your religion established this whole idea that Allah sent 124,000 prophets to all around the world, but all your prophets are literally directly adopted from the Israelites? Except for one or two Arabs.
I think it's three. It's Hud, Saleh, and Shuaib, as far as the ones that aren't mentioned in the Bible. And then Muhammad, if you want to count Muhammad, that's four.
Well, there is the idea that Shuaib is might correspond to a character in the Bible, right? I think to Jethro, or something. I don't know. But yeah, can you give us any explanation to this at all, boy, SNEAKO?
Everybody received the message of Tawheed. But the end time started.
Why is it, SNEAKO, that all the prophets in the world failed Allah's mission, apparently? So Allah sent 124,000 prophets to all the nations in the world, but they all failed except for the Israelites, SNEAKO. and then Muhammad. SNEAKO. Is there something very special about the Israelites, SNEAKO? Why is Allah so obsessed with Israelites, SNEAKO? And yes, does that include apostate prophet, SNEAKO? Is that included in the 124,000?
When the religion of Islam from the Quran was specified, Tawheed was always there. Abraham, the prophets, they worshiped one God. Jesus didn't worship himself. Jesus didn't worship the Holy Ghost. He prayed to the Father. Islam always was there, but the way it's spelled out now, from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Jesus said, I and the Father are one, SNEAKO. SNEAKO, the followers of Jesus, the disciples, the apostles that he himself chose, SNEAKO, they believe that he is God, SNEAKO. They also believe that he is the Son of God, SNEAKO. SNEAKO, his immediate apostles and disciples whom he chose and their followers believed in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, SNEAKO. SNEAKO, the followers of Jesus himself said he is God, SNEAKO. Why do you not trust the people that Jesus himself trusted, SNEAKO? Why are you insulting Jesus, SNEAKO?
That's when the end times really started, because he's the final prophet. After Muhammad, there's no
The final prophet.
more. There's no more prophets. He was the prophet sent for all of mankind. There were 124,000 prophets sent to all the nations in the world. Everybody got this message. So it's really your fault if you don't end up admitting what the truth.
If you're not as smart as me and become a Muslim, if you're not as smart as I am, then it's just your fault because you're too stupid. You have to be as smart as me. I'm SNEAKO. I'm a Muslim.
Truth is, and finding it and staying in falsehood, because everybody hears the message at some point. That's when eschatology in the end times really started, when the final prophet was sent.
It's the final prophet.
And we know that Gog and Magog will be a war between the worlds, and Jesus will return.
Jesus will return and he will destroy the
Living in
Christians.
Jesus the Messiah. We know about the Mahdi and the destruction of the world. Many people will die, and then the Christians and Muslims will unite. Like that is part of our eschatology, is that the Christians and Muslims after
no,
that
it's that Christians will be forced to convert or be wiped out. Hey, I just sent you an X link in the chat.
You're an Islamophobe and you're lying. You see, what did you send me?
I just sent you in the private chat a link. This was interesting.
I don't do private chat. Where is it? I don't see anything here, man. What did you send me?
It's in studio chat, man. There's a link that says private chat.
You sent me a link to Twitter chat.
What?
That's what you sent me. You sent me a link to your Twitter chat.
What the heck? The link won't work?
No,
hang on.
It goes to
I'll send it to your. I'll send it to your phone.
It goes to Twitter private messages. The link that you sent me, because you probably sent me a link from your private messages.
No, it's public, but it's trying to make me log in on this one, and I refuse to do it because they annoy me.
Boomer.
A different enemy, and that we need to work together. And the followers of Jesus are going to unite.
There, I sent it to your phone. Every time I try to log in here, it tells me I have to do something with my phone when I don't even have this on my phone. So I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do.
I don't have a phone. Dude, this is what I'm telling you. The link that you sent me says chat in the link. You just sent me a link to a chat.
What?
You sent me a link to a chat.
Dude, you're annoying me. Oh, okay. Yeah, someone did send me that. Okay, hang on.
Boomer.
Oh, never mind. Hey, no. This is a screenshot of everything.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, how do I even go to this?
Are we back? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Are we here?
What a stupid clip. Who clipped this, man?
We're back.
Versus Jimmy Swaggart. Epic debate.
Oh, thank you. I'll check it out. Put it in the Discord. Stream just got attacked. And then here we go. Autistic Clip says, you've been bashing Christians all stream. Is this the real Autistic Clip? Are you serious, bro? I was a little bit. point out than ever.
So anyway, long story short, we haven't heard a single reason why SNEAKO actually became a Muslim. But the video is titled "Why I Became Muslim."
And
In
so
summary-
apparently the answer is just a bunch of gibberish nonsense.
So, SNEAKO, why did you become a Muslim? Well, what about the Apostle Paul? What Apostle Paul and the sign of the cross?
What about my face glowing?
My face is glowing because I don't worship the Apostle Paul and don't do the sign of the cross. Oh, I have filled my gaping hole.
Hey, now I sent you the link, man.
Where? In the chat?
In the private chat.
Let's see.
Look at that.
SNEAKO's top clipper recently posted his account analytics, and it confirms the majority of his audience are brown third worlders.
Yeah, look, that's what I mean. Look where his views come from. It's Pakistan.
Sheesh, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia. Indians, calm down. This is not an insult against you, only against your country. This is funny. This is SNEAKO's audience, guys. This is SNEAKO's audience. This is people who watch SNEAKO's clips. This is who watches SNEAKO's clips.
No, by the way, that's interesting, right? Because he's saying, what have I gotten out of Islam? What if I get, well, vast majority of your audience is a bunch of Muslims in other countries watching you.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyway, or very, very predictable. Let's see. Cause Meranaut says, have you guys seen Rob Opinion on YouTube? He does funny videos on Islam. Yes, I have seen it. He keeps popping up with his short videos, but I haven't checked many of them out. They're very, very inappropriate.
Yeah, his Zoot video is pretty darn inappropriate.
Yes. And I don't want to watch inappropriate things. AP the Revenant says, hey, why are you stealing my name? If Islam was for all mankind, it would have been translated for the whole world as soon as it came forward, and it wasn't. Oh, wait, the Bible was. Christianity is for all mankind, SNEAKO, not Islam. That is indeed true. Rocky Gonzalez, you should scold SNEAKO like you did Ali Dawar. You should, David. You should do that. Why are you scolding Ali Dawar but not SNEAKO? Bob Nuggets says, didn't he become a Muslim for two reasons? His lifelong crush Tate became Muslim. And two, he said he liked cuties and only Muslims would accept him. That's a bit of a stretch, but yeah, he did like cuties. All right, David, anything else? Are we going live tomorrow? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was supposed to answer that question for you. Anyway, we'll be live the next few days again, and we'll become more and more active. I just moved. I am now like 10 minutes from David or something. So we'll be working together, inshallah. More and more and more and
it's
more.
enchilada.
Enchilada. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Anything else? Anything else, David?
No.
So why did SNEAKO become a Muslim?
Said it all.
Why did SNEAKO become a Muslim? Because the Apostle Paul wrote most of the Bible, and he does have a feeling when he gets on his knees, when his face glows up.
And hey, wouldn't it have been funny if, like, here after he's been a Muslim now for a couple of years, he would have been like, and plus, the book of the Council of Nicaea was removed from the Bible. I still can't get over that. That would have been like legend status. That'd have been instant legend status, man, if he just said that.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We shall be back soon, inshallah. Until then, as always, have a fantastic day. And God bless you all. And
stay away from Islam.
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 Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam. from Islam. Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam.